Did you know the tap water in your home may be hazardous? Not to your health, but to your appliances and your wallet. Your home's hard water creates pipe-clogging limescale, and that can shorten the life of your water heater, ruin your dishwasher, and break down your washing machine. Limescale deposits block the heating element, and that could be costing you an extra $1,200 a year in energy and wear. But you can remove limescale without chemicals, magnets, or salts. It's easy with HydroCare, the patented device used worldwide. See for yourself at bestsoftwater.com. You simply clip HydroCare to your main water pipe. HydroCare removes and prevents limescale buildup in your entire plumbing system. If your home has hard water, extend the life of your appliances with HydroCare. Try it risk-free. Just go to bestsoftwater.com. That's bestsoftwater.com. Or call now, 888-883-8187. That's 888-883-8187.
Blog Talk Radio.
I generally let the music play until you give me some look to make it stop.
And I wait for the drums, and then
that's when we say, let's not get too. All right, well.
Because we have gray matter.
We do have gray matter. We have it in more than one way. All right. And that's important to know that is gray matter, because that's going to come up later in a contest that we're going to do in a bit. Not this week.
I like contests.
Yeah, it's going to be a good contest, because we're going to actually do Frank the Unicorn radio program trivia.
Swell,
but that's in the future. And, well, it's 7 o'clock Sunday night, 7 p.m. Welcome to the show. It's Frank the Unicorn radio program. I'm your host, Frank the Unicorn. Co-host with me, as always, the lovely and talented Beans.
Lovely and talented.
Lovely and talented.
Mostly lovely.
Mostly lovely. The genius of pop culture, the man who knows everything that you don't and that you should listen to about things that you don't know about. Anyway.
Well, that's kind of rude. I don't want to say I know things they don't. Deep in your tonsils has schooled me a few times.
We it is a good idea. It is true that this is a learning process. We do learn things from our listeners. We're not the arrogant radio hosts that do believe we know everything, but...
Well, I'm not the arrogant radio host who believes they know everything.
Okay. I'm not either. However, we do know a lot of really...
I think we could put that up for a contest.
Well, we could, but we do know a lot of very interesting and cool things, and that's one of the reasons people like to listen to our show, is because of that. And we have a great show for you this week coming up. And we're going to talk about that. I want to mention our show last week, or not last week, because last week we
didn't have a show last week.
We did not have a show last week. We had a break.
Last week we were sleeping.
That's right. We had Turkey Day. We had a Turkey Day break, and we needed a little break to just kind of recollect things and let everyone have a nice holiday weekend and enjoy themselves. We're back this week, obviously. But 2 weeks ago, we had a great show. We had our first in-studio guest that was actually performing in-studio music, not just a skit, because we had the Smash Brothers on live. They were our first in-studio guests. We played a couple tracks. They did an in-studio bit. Now, the guys we had last week actually performed in the studio. That was Goodman. 2 weeks ago, they were in the studio. They were amazing.
Emphasis on the good.
The
damn good stuff.
Excellent Man. They should change their name to, or Awesome Man. But they were fantastic, so we just want to publicly thank them again. We want to thank all of our guests that have been sticking with us and doing, the local musicians and artists that have been contributing to the show. We do appreciate it. We're now at a point where we have bands booked for like a month in advance, because we have so many, there's so much talent out there. There's so many great bands, and we want to try to give them, the exposure that they deserve. So we have them like a month in advance. So we know what's coming up.
While we're talking about bands, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When you walked into the studio today, you found an item.
Yes.
Sitting near the board.
That's true.
That you gave me some poop for, I would say.
I did. I gave you a little bit of the shat.
Why was this? It was. I had been listening to the greatest hits collection of Mr. Jonathan Bon Jovi.
Yeah, I walked in and I saw this here, and I just had to ask, did I just see the greatest hits of Bon Jovi, the Ultimate Collection?
And you gave me a look like I pooped on your grandma.
Yeah, I was very surprised, But to respond to this line of discussion using some song titles from Mr. Bon Jovi himself from this very album, I will say this: you've got to understand that this is love, this is life, and the more things change these days, It may not be a bed of roses, but
yeah, I hate it when you do this.
I know we're going to keep the faith because we don't.
Worse than Squanto.
Because someday I'll be Saturday night. I don't want to get lost on the lost highway in these arms.
But I was serious. What do you have against the Jovi?
I don't have anything against the Jovi. I do feel like there's a possibility that you personally may give love a bad name. It may cause me to be living on a prayer.
How do I stop this?
You know what? All I can tell you is it's my life. I want you to have a nice day.
Can we go back to talking about sharktopusses?
Because I'm wanted dead or alive. But in spite of all that, I'll be there for you. You really need to take this away from me.
My God,
okay.
put the CD down.
All right.
But I just didn't understand why you had such a virulent reaction to the fact that I enjoy Blaze of Glory.
No, well, here's the problem. Blaze of Glory, not on here.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is. Track 10 on disc 1. Okay, right between Born to Be My Baby and Who Says You Can't Go Home. Okay, all right, fair enough.
Nothing wrong with Tommy
because
working on
you know what it is? It's Bon Jovi's not terrible. Bon Jovi's just fine. It's just fun to make fun of because he's so popular and successful that there's that natural backlash where you josh him a little bit. You give a little bit of a poke in regards to Bon Jovi.
Are you saying that you would josh Sinatra?
Well, no.
That you would poke Sinatra?
Here's the difference.
You can get garroted.
I was just going to say, Bon Jovi has no mob ties that I'm aware of, whereas, Sinatra, when he was alive,
alleged
mob ties, correct. I believe that was what David Letterman said. Mario Cuomo should name his new neckwear.
That was what he said.
Sinatra should name his new neckwear.
Yeah. Alleged
mob ties. All right. So back to the discussion of local music. Next week, this week we've got our first local music guest was Casino Luchi. He was a rapper, right?
He was indeed.
He's going to be back on the show tonight. We're going to actually talk to him a little bit. We're going to play a track from him. Now, next week, we're going to have another band in live in the studio, and that's Last Phone Booth. They're going to be live in the studio next week, so we're going to talk about them.
And do they know where the space bar is located on their word processing equipment? Because when he sent me their name, it was all one word, which I thought was kind of cool, but at the same time,
I think that might have been my...
was that you?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to put that on them, but...
I thought it was cool.
Because I sent that to you. But so I do want to mention as well, one of the other bands...
If it's not them, they should take the spaces out of their name right away.
I'm not... again, I don't offer advice on what they should do or shouldn't do. I just try to listen and appreciate it. But here's the thing. X-Rated, remember we all loved X-Rated. We've actually played them a couple times too.
Ayo.
They're going to be at Respectable Street December 10th. We keep talking about that show. It's upcoming, so we definitely want to remind everyone about that. And our good buddy Josh Fox, half the Smash Brothers that they were on, they've got a new Hanukkah song and video on their YouTube channel and on their MySpace. So you can check out on our website, which is frankunicorn.com. There's links to that. We're taking your calls, 347-326-9700. Of course, twitter.com @frankunicorn. At frankunicorn. We've got show at frankunicorn.com if you want to reach us via email. We have successfully avoided or tried to successfully avoid talking about Sharktopus in the opening this week.
I mentioned it.
You did mention it, and you slipped him in there. But so
though I'd like to hear some tweets about Bon Jovi. I'd like to hear if people agree with you that it's like the worst.
It's not the worst. It's just it's the generic packaged adult pop, I guess is the best way to say it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that my particular taste, it doesn't match with my particular taste. That's all.
I don't know that I'd call Richie Sambora, packaged, and there's not a lot of people that can do what he can do.
Well, okay. Again, there's no denying that they're all very individually talented. They're a good band. They make good music. People like it. It's very popular. Again, it's the same thing like the Don Henley thing.
I didn't think you knew what kind of hornet's nest you were staring at.
I didn't. It's just not my thing. It's just something that I don't particularly. I don't gravitate to it. Now, I'm kind of glad it came up though because it goes back to why we do what we do as far as what we've done with the local art segments and the local music segments because, again, it's not. I feel like. We try to expose everyone that we can. We try to get everyone an opportunity, and we don't censor. We try not to censor anyone as far as what they want to put out or what they want to put on or what their style or their genre is, even if it's something that maybe isn't as mainstream as some of the other things that are out there, because it all has credence, it all has an audience. We just don't necessarily all agree on it, but it's still important that it gets out there because it needs to find its audience. And, we don't want to censor. We don't want to stop that. We don't want to stop that creativity.
And I would just, on a personal note, like to ask our listeners: are you a Bon Jovi or are you a non-Jovi? #non-Jovi.
Non-Jovi. I think that's one we're going to have to put in the Francabulary. A not Bon Jovi fan would be a non-Jovi. And I'm not saying that I have any particular distaste for Bon Jovi. He's got some very good music, whatever.
And clearly I'm not a huge fan. All I've got is the greatest hits collection.
Right,
I don't have the albums or anything.
You don't have the posters. You don't have Slippery When Wet posters out there.
But we don't talk about
I
that.
know, it's in your bathroom, so whatever.
You saw that?
Yeah. And there's a hole in it. I don't know why there's a hole right where his mouth is. I don't get that, but that's okay.
Well, so only the one hole. Okay, good.
All right, anyway, that's disgusting. So, anyway, the whole point is maybe not my taste or my flavor, but still has validity. So
I try not to think about your flavor.
Yeah. So okay, so we're gonna continue now. We've got a good what you're watching. We're gonna talk about Henchmen. We posted a list. We have the Beans list, okay?
Sort of.
So we've got what you're watching. We've got the Beans list, which is the hench folk. Okay, the top hench folk, the hench people, the henchmen.
Henchers that we love.
The henchers, that's right. And it's just a theme we wanted to revisit. And so that's going to be the focus. Now, we've posted on franktheunicorn.com just 3 clips of random hench stuff. Okay, one of them is a henchman that isn't necessarily the most common henchman, but is still a hench role. If you look at the role and watch the movie for what it is, it's a hench role, and that's David Caruso, pre-CSI Miami and Sunglasses in Mad Dog and Glory, where Robert De Niro plays the meek cop and Bill Murray plays the vicious gangster who owns the comedy club so he can do his own comedy there, which I think is hilarious.
And it would have been a great idea if De Niro had committed to it, which I don't feel like he did. Bill Murray was great.
He was a little halfway.
De Niro was, he was kind of already coasting towards the Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle territory.
Nice. All right, so we're going to talk about that. We've got the Beans, like I said, we've got the Beans list. We've got our local music segment, and again, that's Casino Luchi. This song is called I Have a Dream, and we're going to talk about that. He's going to call in, and we're going to talk about that. We've got our How Unicorn Are You segment. This one is almost Squanto-free. I will say that when
the word almost bothers me.
When Squanto wakes up in the morning with bad breath, he has squantalitosis.
That doesn't even really work.
Come on, don't call me squantalitosis. It's close enough.
Halosquantosis, maybe.
Halosquantosis? Halosquantosis.
You can't even write your own Squanto joke.
You know what? I just tricked you. You see, that was a ploy. That was on purpose to get you to write a Squanto joke against your will. You just did it. You fell for it, my friend.
I did.
Unicorn magic.
You're practically a henchman. You got me in the trap.
I have fooled thee.
I have to get my unicorn repellent bat spray.
Yeah, you do. And so this week in bacon, we've got this week in bacon, we've got a new segment called Unicorns on Fire. Something that I know that you are not as in favor of because of the unicorn thing, but unicorns are hot right now. They're very popular. We actually had some tweets going back and forth with a reporter for the LA Times who had written a show or a story about unicorns, and we contacted her and explained that we're actually a unicorn-based radio show and what we're doing here, and she loved it.
You don't hear every day.
Unicorn-based radio show. In stereo, we just said that. All right. So
you can use your iPod to hear us in both ears.
There you go. So we wanted to highlight that a little bit. So 347-326-9700, twitter.com at Frank the Unicorn, show at franktheunicorn.com. And it sounds like we actually got we got a spam email. That's always fun to get during the show, a spam email. We love that. And, of course, we're on the line as well, franktheunicorn.com. You can check that out. Check out that Beans list. So
maybe you're upset about the spam email, but I've been wanting to order some extends, so that works out for me.
Thanks, Jimmy Johnson. Could they have picked a guy with a better last name to do a commercial for a product name Extends? Why has no one mentioned the fact that a guy named Jimmy Johnson is doing commercials for Extends male enlargement? Come on. It's so obvious no one goes there. Why?
I'm sure people have gone there.
We've gone there. We just went there. You know what? We went there, bought the T-shirt, took the souvenir photo, and drove back the same day. It was exhausting. Next time we're going to spring for a hotel.
I'm a little tired.
All right. We're going to stay at the Motel 7 because it's just one little bit better than the Motel 6. Okay.
I guess our producers heard that a few times before.
I don't know.
That was the sigh of, oh, that joke again.
I'm sure someone's heard that joke before. All right. Real quick, too, I just want to throw this one out there. I think that Quiznos should change their names. I think that Quiznos should change their name.
Why should Quiznos change their name?
Because Quiz Lips sounds like a much better place to eat.
I don't think I'd eat at some place called Quiz Lips.
Get it, though. Quiznos, Quiz Lips. I mean, think about it. We eat with our mouths, not with our nostrils.
But you smell the toasty subs.
but you taste them as well on your lips.
But that's what
in
brings you in the door, is the scent of toasting phony meats and such.
Toasted phony meats. Okay, hashtag phony meat. I like that one. Okay, I guess that works. So, real quick, too, I want to mention this because yesterday I got to go to an event in Miami. I don't often get to go to be a VIP in events, especially a celebrity event down in Miami. So I got to go to a great celebrity auction, a celebrity pillow fight, which sounds like something you'd really want to see.
Especially if Rosario Dawson's there.
Well, no, unfortunately not. But there were many beautiful ladies. And more importantly, there were some amazing furniture. It was at the Baltus Furniture Showroom down there. We went down there, got invited to go to a.
I figured there had to be a reason furniture trumped ladies.
Yeah, well, it's an auction for these celebrity designed pillowcases, and the money that they raised went to Care Resource, which is a local charity, and it was a great event. It was a great time. We had a lot of fun.
Were any of the pillowcases designed by Michael Ian Black?
No.
Were any of them designed by Steven Seagal?
No.
Then I will have nothing. Tell me who they were.
That whole bit of silence was the nothing that you were having.
I got
we
that.
were giving that to the audience as well. There were some great celebrity designs. Sarah Silverman did a pillow.
Nice. Just finished her book. Very, very funny.
Prince Mario Max of Austria, who's got a new clothing line and fragrance out. He did.
I don't care what he has. Prince Mario Max is the most awesome name I've heard.
It is, and actually his pillow was great. He had a pillow there.
The guy's name is a Nintendo game.
There were a lot of designers. Ernie Velez had an awesome pillow. It was really cool. I actually bid on it. I was trying to win that one. I didn't come away with that one. Alex Mappa had a pillow there.
I'd be worried about ordering Sarah Silverman's pillow because her book was called The Bedwetter. So I don't know if I'd want a pillow from Sarah Silverman.
Yeah, I will say there were no stains on it, and it seemed like it was in good shape. It was cute. It was a little girl. It was all done with blue Sharpie, and it was signed, and it was very lovely, and actually sold for quite a bit. They raised a lot of money, so it was a good event, and I want to thank them for inviting us down there and for having us there, RBB Public Relations, and also Baltus as well. That was a great event. Next time they could have Shark-to-Puss there. I'm just saying.
A Shark-to-Pillow?
Yeah, they could have a Shark-to-Pillow. That would be awesome. Shark-to-Pillow, hashtag Shark-to-Pillow. That works. That would be amazing. That would definitely be a product that people would be in favor of.
I don't know that people would.
No?
I know that we would. I don't know that regular people would.
Well, who else listens to our show but people like us?
Good point.
Okay. All right. So, hench movies. Let's talk hench movies, okay? And now, I know that one of the henchmen that's going to come up, because you're going to mention Brian James in Tango and Cash, are you not?
You mean Joaquin? Yes, I am.
Joaquin. Okay.
That's him. He's the governor.
All right. Joaquin with the British accent.
Yes.
Okay.
Sort of.
Played by
as close as Brian James could get to a British accent.
Played by the American guy who looks like he's Irish.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's got all the red, and he looks kind of like he's got like the rat face. All right. But anyway, so the director of Tango and Cash,
whose name I cannot pronounce.
I can't either, has made a...
It's got a Z and a J somewhere.
Something in there, yeah.
Way too much going on in that name.
Well, he made a film. He made a Nutcracker movie. Very appropriate for the holidays.
Yeah, that was Tango and Cash.
Well, very appropriate for the holidays. He's got a new movie now based on the Nutcracker. However, in this movie, there's absolutely no singing and dancing, okay?
But it's the Nutcracker.
It's the Nutcracker. And the Nazis have replaced... Now, the rats in the Nutcracker story for this movie have been replaced by rat-faced Nazis. Ratsies. Who
Captain America would call them.
Who are attempting to subvert and overthrow the land and to initiate the ratification of everyone. And this is supposedly a kids film. It's gotten panned. It's like one thing we do here when we criticize movies or we make fun of films and things, we do that where we criticize and question the result, but we don't criticize or question the effort that went into producing such thing.
Sometimes you have to.
Well, in this particular case, I kind of feel like when you get to that idea stage, because let's face it, one of the staples of this show is throwing out bad movie premises. One of our segments is predicated on, is this a more ridiculous and worse scenario for a film, or is this a even more offensive and ridiculous scenario for a film, which, although within the context of how films are made and following the certain rules and things that, movies are made with in an effort to be profitable, that's where the joke is. Now, my question with this is, seriously? I mean, are you know, at what point in the meeting room or the read-through do you not stop for a second and say, this just isn't going to work? Like, the concept is poor. Like, there's not a way for us to even make this quirky enough to make it something that can catch on. It's just a complete mess. It fell out of a dog's butt. We just got to leave it on the sidewalk and keep walking.
So what should the rats have been? Should they have been like vegans or something horrible?
No, I mean, you know, again, why? First of all, why? If you're going to do the Nutcracker, what's the point of changing? If you're going to change things, I can sort of understand the concept of making it more contemporary, trying to update things, or even making it older and making it something else. Okay, I get it. But why is it that...
Do like a grim and gritty Nutcracker?
Well, there's always... I think that seems like...
Dwayne Johnson is the Nutcracker.
The Nutcracker. Seems like what it's... Well, that'd be a movie about a wrestler. But it
makes more money than faster. I think it just did.
I just question, as I said, in the process, where the better thought didn't come through and stop this from happening. Whether it be with a producer, a studio head, whoever, I don't know. It just seems like it was a bad idea from start to finish. Mm-hmm. And I really wish you would have just made Tango and Cash 2.
Tango and Cash 2 is a movie that should have happened.
Really, I mean, why wouldn't you have a sequel with those characters? They worked so well together. The chemistry was great between Russell and Stallone.
From what I understand, Tango and Cash was a very troubled production. The director actually got fired 3/4 of the way through it.
You know why?
Someone else.
Because of Joaquin.
Maybe. But
you got to stop Brian. Listen, you got to stop Brian James from doing this weird accent. This isn't going to work. This movie's not going to work.
That's one of the best things about the movie.
And that's why the director was right in that respect.
And Jack Palance is awesome in that movie.
And that may have given him that may have given him the thought that, hey, if I was right about this, maybe I could remake a Nutcracker movie in, say, 20 years where
could be.
I've got ratsies instead of...
But from what I understand, Tango and Cash was a tremendously troubled production. But there were two buddy cop movies I always felt should have spawned a series. Tango and Cash and Running Scared. The Billy Crystal Griffin movie.
Yes, Running Scared, and Jimmy Smits was the villain in that, and he was great.
No henchman, I might add.
Well, you know, that's the thing. That's where it doesn't really fit with our theme.
I know, but I still have to throw it in there.
Such a fun buddy cop movie. And really, it was Lethal Weapon before there was Lethal Weapon. Yeah. It was just, instead of them... Funnier, more likable characters, and
they weren't superheroes. They were just guys.
Right, they were just guys. And more importantly, they were both Murtaugh.
Yeah.
They were both burned out. A much more likely scenario where they're just both completely burned out. They don't give a crap about doing this. Their only interest is going home at night.
Yeah.
More than being Superman and catching the bad guy. They're not gonna get shot to make an arrest. You know, they're getting their paycheck. They want to go on their vacation to Key West.
The vest won't do much if you get shot in the face.
Right.
I need it for lower back support.
Right. Or when they've got the cab with all the windows that are bulletproof and you can't roll the window down to shoot back, you know.
Ace.
Yeah. And you know, again, 2 years before Lethal Weapon came out. 2 years before Lethal Weapon was made.
And you got Joe Pantoliano with that dopey cockatoo hair.
I honestly don't remember Pantoliano being in that movie, but it doesn't surprise me.
He plays Snake, and he's got bright red hair that goes up in the little curly-Q thing over his head.
That sounds to me like a hench role.
Except he's not a henchman because he's just a stoolie who gets killed pretty early on.
Okay, a stoolie. All right. So we've now expanded the show to not only be henchmen, but we're gonna throw in stoolies as well.
I like stoolie.
Because
that's a good word.
That is a great word, and it's a word that doesn't get used enough. We need to Twitter out and hashtag out stoolie, because now we're talking 1930s gangster films when we're
that's
using
right, see?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do the rest of the show talking like Chief Wiggum. Get it? Yeah, right.
But
reindeer games? No, I don't think so. Yeah, see, it's just a stoolie.
I know that there's no henchmen in that movie.
Poor henching in that movie.
It's the buddy cop thing. But we can move back to henchmen.
Well, buddy cop movies.
To give Running Scared a plug.
But it's important because buddy cop movies are a breeding ground for hench behavior, because it's such a fertile
hench behavior. You should write a textbook.
I should. But here's the thing:
henchmen and the women who love them.
Right.
And the henchwomen who love them.
It's important because the henchmen are necessary to establish the value of the hero. In other words, you can't have the hero just arresting the bad guy without having to mess somebody up or get through some obstacle ahead of that, get through someone before that happens, because it would be extremely boring, okay? and it just wouldn't be a heck of a lot of fun.
I always find it interesting when the henchman becomes the main bad guy.
Right.
Like Lethal Weapon's a good example, because Mr. Joshua, the Gary Busey character, he was just the henchman. Mitchell Ryan was the bad guy. He was, the big general guy who was like supposed to be such a big deal. But then as the movie went on, it just evolved into Gary Busey being the villain. And when Mitchell Ryan gets dispatched, no one even notices. He just explodes, and okay, we're done with him. Bring on Busey.
Right, bring on Busey in the fist fight in the front yard with everyone watching. Give me a break. Give me a break. I thought that was one of the... Everyone loves that scene. Great scene for what it is. However,
now I think it's because they want to see Mel Gibson get the shit kicked out.
Well, I was just going to say, however, in retrospect, now you're rooting for Busey. You want him to bite him with those giant teeth.
For the record, I've always been rooting for Busey.
Okay, I've always been rooting for Busey. That's a band name right there.
That's a game show.
That is a game. That is a game show, isn't it? Rooting for Busey. All right, just show random clips of Busey doing various henchman things, and is he going to win in this particular scene? But and you win fabulous cash and prizes. Fabulous.
Right out of the Conan blimp.
But yeah, I kind of agree. That is true. That is a very good example. And one of the things that goes wrong with that movie as well, because there is so much build-up to it being this general guy who's doing all these black ops things in Vietnam and all this stuff, and it's all mysterious.
Killing Tom Atkins. How do you get away with killing Tom Atkins?
I don't. Well, he didn't. He exploded.
But still,
he got his uppins came for sure. His uppins came.
Let that be a lesson to all of you. You don't kill Tom Atkins.
No, you don't. You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit in the wind.
And you don't kill Tom Atkins.
And you don't kill Tom Atkins. All right. At Robot Embassy, Snake, Doc Hopper's frog-killing henchman in the Muppet movie.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Excellent henchman.
What do you do, Snake? I kill frogs. With some weird crossbow that fires tridents.
Yes.
That was just the most bizarre thing. I get the trident thing because Kermit's amphibious, right? Yeah. So that kind of I can understand, but wow. That dude was, and he was bad. I mean, he was scary. He was scary. That
was a great call. I didn't even think of him.
I didn't either. That is a good one from Robot Embassy. He was the tough. He was the big time frog killer. From the coast.
That's right.
Oh, that was
great. If you're
great.
going to get your big-time frog killer, you want to go to the coast.
You've got to go to the coast.
A landlocked frog killer isn't really
not going to happen. He's got to be living in the pads. He's got to be in the lily pads, swimming with the tadpoles. You got to get into the mind of the frog. You got to hop from thing to thing.
You got to get out there, date a pig,
eat some flies.
Do what you got to do.
Play a banjo.
That's right.
All right.
The weirdo.
34732 and a bear that makes horrible jokes. 34. See, you're kind of the Fozzie Bear of the show. Well, I guess.
Ow.
Well. I was going to say because...
wait. I just want to say that you started with horrible jokes, and then you wanted to... Oh, by the way, that's you.
You know what? I completely misspoke. I was going to say... Yeah, hold on. I was going to say you would be the Kermit of the show because you're hanging around with an unfunny unicorn instead of an unfunny bear, and I'm a weirdo. Bonus. So you would be the Kermit of the show. See?
I don't think that's what you said.
That's what I meant to say. How about that? Can we go with that? All right. 347... I'm gonna get busted on the podcast, but that is really what I meant to go with that direction.
Can that just be the Pepe of the show, okay?
If you choose to be.
There you go.
All right. I know you secretly desire to be the Gonzo of the show, and that's
be King Prawn.
Fine. You can throw some chickens. Okay. 347-326-9700. You know what we need? A guy that throws exploding fish. That would take the show over the top.
Where is New Zealand when you need him?
I don't know. All right. Twitter.com @FrankTheUnicorn. Show @FrankTheUnicorn.com. You can reach us any number of these ways. Let's go ahead, and since we're already sort of into the henchman thing with this, let's go ahead and talk about the Beans list. Let's discuss some henchmen. And this is what we want. We want people to give us feedback on their henchmen that they want to put on our list. We've gotten one great one from Robot Embassy.
Which I think tops anyone that I had on the list.
Which is the Kermit Killer, the frog killer brought in from the coast.
Had a name.
By Doc Hopper. I don't know.
I don't remember.
I should know this. Snake.
All right.
Right. It was in the tweet. We should be paying attention. So far we've got Snake, the Kermit. You know what? Do you think was it Snake Plissken? Is that what Snake Plissken did before the escape from New York?
I don't know. The guy had two eyes.
Was he? But well, he could have lost one. He could have lost one to a frog, or he could have lost one with one of those weird tridents that he shoots out of the crossbow.
Entirely possible.
All right. So that's right now our top henchman that we've got is Snake, the frog killer from the coast from the Muppet movie, which I love. But we are looking for your other henchmen. We've got Joaquin as well, Brian James. Who we did a feature on, actually, as an unknown actor. We told you to watch his films.
There's also the king of the henchmen, the one that is sort of the prototype for all henchmen, who you can't go without mentioning Harold Sakata, Oddjob from Goldfinger.
Yes, in fact, I actually posted a clip on the website, franktheunicorn.com. You look at the post there, there's 3 clips, and one of them, as we said, was Mad Dog and Glory with Mike, with David Caruso, just because it's the epitome of tough and badass right there.
And in fact, when David Caruso could act.
It was. And it was David Caruso being a believable tough guy, intimidating someone twice his size.
Nick Nunziata had my favorite line about David Caruso, which was he'd have to learn another note to be called one note.
You know what? I'm going to have to teach you another joke, because you've said that so many times on this show.
Have I?
Yes. We're going to go back to the podcast.
But at least I credited Nick this time.
That's true. Well, you know what we should do is part of our trivia quiz should be how many times have you said that on the show?
Go for it.
I had to get back at you for you calling me out on misspeaking when calling you the Fonzie of the show, when clearly I was calling you the Kermit of the show. Okay. Bon Jovi at Go Pals is a nay. Oh, I'm sorry, at Go Palo. Excuse me, Go Palo, which is a very talented band, by the way, that we've been sort of negotiating about trying to figure out a way to get them on the show. Go Palo is nay. At the Board Life is nay, and at Lady Bell 49 is a yay. So we're 2-1 against Bon Jovi, against the good Jovi.
Sorry, Jovi.
Well, it's early. That's only 3 tweets. I mean, it could turn around. You're living on a prayer. You're halfway there.
I don't like you anymore.
Seriously. There is no reason. I know the union's been on strike and you're down on your luck. It's tough. But no reason to get your 6-string and hawk.
So Henchmen.
Yeah.
Henchmen. All right. So back to Henchmen, because I'm making fun of Bon Jovi and they don't like when I do this. He's from
New Jersey. He will stab you.
I use random things that I see, titles, words, whatever, and I'll just mix them all into a sentence that actually sounds like it means something when in reality it means nothing. So I could. Anyway,
Oddjob.
We'll walk away from that. Oddjob, okay. With his razored hat. The other one that we put on there, Oddjob has no lines in the movie. He has one line. He says, when he dies. Right, that's the only line.
That's something.
It is something. And yes, he is sort of the epitome.
In the book, he had a cleft palate, and that's why he never spoke. I don't think they ever mentioned that in the movie.
No, they did not. But, he is sort of the prototypical early henchman. The difference, though, between Oddjob and most henchmen is that Oddjob actually is tough. Oddjob actually presents a real challenge when doing battle and fighting against Mr. Bond.
Well, those are the henchmen I like. I don't really like the ones that are easily disposed of.
Well, and that's the other part of it. There's so many henchmen in films where the build-up for the henchmen is so much. Like you mentioned Under Siege 2. We were talking about this earlier.
That's what I was going to mention. Everett McGill in Under Siege 2. I think is a great henchman.
Should have killed Hassner Heigl when he had the chance.
Well, shouldn't everybody? But
had her on a train, totally just could have done, finished.
Yes. No Grey's Anatomy for you.
Nope.
But I think he's a blast because he's the world's biggest badass. He, uses pepper spray as breath spray.
Right. Like she sprays the pepper spray in his face, and he takes
the sinuses.
Yeah, laughs at her, takes it away, squirts it in his, squirts a bunch of it in his mouth, swishes it around, and delivers the line.
That just clears the sinuses.
Yes.
But and he's just like built up as this horrifying badass, and then it gets to a point where he gets Mano a Sigalo, and he has a big old knife fight with Steven Seagal.
And you know how it's going to end.
And
however,
not only does he not inflict any real damage on Seagal, he never touches the dude.
Right.
Not a scratch, not a broken fingernail, not a paper cut, nothing.
And through the movie, Seagal becomes aware of his presence, and earlier in the film, and so there's a lot of build-up, not only just his hench behavior towards his captives and the other agents even who were on the train when he first offs the first 2 agents on the train, including Nina Sismako. I don't remember who the guy was, but there's a lot of this build-up of him being such a tough guy and how he knows Ryback. He knows Seagal's character and he knows all of his moves and he's the one guy
was
that
it
can.
Brenda Bucky, the one that he
Was it?
I think so.
It could have been. All right, I apologize with all due respect. They're very similar actresses. They had very similar careers, did similar movies, but
only one of them had that mark on her face.
True. Although both very attractive and beautiful. All right. Although only one of them had a brother who starred in 3 O'Clock High. So
that's true.
Right. And was also Matchbook from Back to the Future. Or Matchstick. I think his name is Matchstick.
And he's in Young Guns, which goes a long way with me.
There you go. So, all right. But back to the henching. Yes, there's all this build about how he's the guy that's going to, the only one, and that's why he's on this train. is because that's how tough he is. He's the Seagal of henchmen, and yes, he doesn't even. It's not even that he doesn't even win, because you know he's not going to win. Okay, he's not going to win. However, not only does he not even do any damage, you're right. I don't think he touches Seagal.
Yeah. And he was on one of my all-time favorite TV shows on Twin Peaks, and he played Big Ed Hurley, who was also like a brawler, but the brawler with a heart of gold.
Right.
And even on Twin Peaks, he got to kick people's asses. He got into like bar fights and stuff. Got to knock people out. And then seeing him in Under Siege 2, I was all excited because he had like platinum blonde hair and he looked really, really creepy. And just the kind of guy you'd be scared of. And then nothing.
Yeah, it was a big letdown. And that, unfortunately, that happens. I mean, that does happen a lot. How are we doing on tweets? Twitter.com @FrankTheUnicorn, 347-326-9700, show @FrankTheUnicorn.com. We're talking henching. We're talking hench people. And we're getting lists of our henchmen. So far, we've got Snake, the Kermit Killer, or attempted Kermit Killer, because he didn't because of Animal. We've got Joaquin from Tango and Cash. We've got Busey from Lethal Weapon. And we've now added
Odd Job
as well. We've got Odd Job from Goldfinger.
And Everett McGill, whose character's name I don't remember.
It's not. You know what? If he had done damage to Seagal, he would have earned the right on that, but because he couldn't even make a mark on Seagal, not even like you cut the hero in the shoulder kind of thing.
I guess, I don't know if this counts as a henchman really. Deep in Your Tonsils gave us Luca Brasi from The Godfather, which, I mean, I guess he's a henchman, but
in
at the same time,
sense,
we're talking more about like action movie folks.
Yeah.
Oh, he does have a great death scene, the eyeball popping out of his head.
That is a great death scene, and a great death scene does make for a great henchman as well. If you're dispatched in a great way, like for example, in the movie Commando.
He never really gets to do anything henchy is the problem.
That is the problem. But now, in the movie Commando, this is how a death scene, a great hench death scene, can redeem you. Because in the movie Commando, Arnold Schwarzenegger dispatches multitudes of hench people. Hundreds upon hundreds. The body count is enormous.
And never reloads.
Never reloads, never apologizes, doesn't blink, never gets blood on him, which I think is amazing. A lot of dirt. Gets dirt on him, no blood.
It's dirty work.
That's the other part about these movies too, which is hilarious, is that you're killing all these henchmen, and not one of them is bleeding on you.
Yeah.
All the blood goes straight down. It's weird. All right. But the most memorable henchman in the entire film, he's in it for 5 seconds. He's the guy in the shed. He opens the door to the shed. Schwarzenegger cuts his arm off with a giant machete. He screams, so he picks up the guy's arm and hits him with it to knock him down and finish him off. That death scene right there, makes him the most memorable henchman of the entire film. Even more memorable than the guy that played Bennett. I can't remember his name, but, again, another great hench guy.
Yeah.
Yet again, another example of letting us down, because, again, through the whole movie, he's going around...
Vernon Wells, by the way,
okay,
played Bennett.
Thank you. He's going around preening about how bad he is and how he knows...
And by the way, while he's preening about how bad he is, can I just point out that he looks like a steroidal Freddie Mercury?
And he's... Absolutely, because he's wearing the most ridiculous mesh, like
a chainmail vest.
Right. It's like a chainmail muscle shirt with, like, leather pants. He's got the porn star Freddie Mercury mustache and haircut. And he's going around, and it doesn't help that he's threatening, like, an 11-year-old Alyssa Milano with this giant, like, Rambo knife, talking about how he loves to cut young girls' throats because it's like slicing warm butter. And he comes, and he's going through all this, and he's so bad, he's so tough, and then he's got the showdown with Schwarzenegger.
And he does cut Schwarzenegger.
He does, but beyond that, he doesn't want to get close to him. He stays as far away from him as he can.
No, Schwarzenegger was a monster back then.
I agree, but at the same time, if you're a steroidal Freddie Mercury, you've got to have the confidence to rock it. You know what I mean? You just got to go for it.
He should have put on the unitard.
You know what? Here's my only thing with that. If you got to realize something. You're the henchman in the film, sir. You know you're going to be killed. You chose that outfit for them to find your dead body in?
But he was one of the Busey-esque henchmen, where he was the henchman who really became the main bad guy.
He did become the main bad guy.
Who cares about Dan Hidea's greatly accented dictator?
Yes. And again, another example of the same trap that these films fall into, where, yes, the henchman becomes the main bad guy, and even though the main bad guy, is killed before the main henchman.
The only thing I don't like about Commando is that Dan Hedaya does not get to speak enough in that awesome accent he does.
Dan Hedaya is fantastic.
He really
is. He's great in everything.
He finally got a chance to do something really different and be Colombian-ish. Because did they ever name the country? I don't remember.
I don't think they ever did. It was just a random South American country, yeah.
But he had such a great Tony Montana level accent that you can't even. There's so much more that could have been done with that, I feel.
There is, and we've got a couple tweets here. Okay, at Deep in Your Tonsils points out a great one, and then he opens up a great topic of discussion here. But he mentions Bolo from Enter the Dragon. Definitely, and in fact, still to this day, I think his name's Bolo Young, is the actor.
Yeah.
Not only was he the henchman in Enter the Dragon, he was also the main henchman in Bloodsport.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and a ton of direct-to-video karate movies from the 90s.
Donald Gibb, I want to find out whatever happened to him. I love Bloodsport. I'm sorry, go on.
It's a good question. He, famous not only for Bloodsport, but Donald Gibb also for being Booger.
Yeah, no, for being Ogre.
Ogre. Curtis Armstrong is Booger. Okay. Yeah. Bolo Young, great henchman, great hench actor. He's made a whole career for himself being the hench guy in the karate movies,
actually
the direct-to-video karate movies.
Leads to the next person I wanted to bring up, which was Al Long of
yes.
Die Hard
yes.
and every other action movie
yes.
in the 80s.
We need a random Asian. We need a tough Asian guy, henchman. Let's get Al Long. Also played Genghis Khan in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
And the thing with Al Long is he was so instantly recognizable that
as soon as
I don't
came
even
on
think
screen.
he gets a line in Die Hard. He just eats a Crunch Bar and gets shot. And for some reason, you remember him because he's Al Long.
And you know what? If you were to ask him, I'm sure, probably his favorite experience on a film, Die Hard.
Because of the candy?
I went in for a day. I didn't have to memorize any lines. I ate a bar of candy, and I got shot. I went home. Got a huge paycheck. And I've been getting residuals ever since.
He's also the guy who water tortured Mel Gibson
in Lethal Weapon in the original
which now
one.
we'd all like to do. So
yes.
How long has lived our dream?
He has lived our dream. All right. Now, Deep in Your Tonsils poses another question. I'm gonna respond to this one. Wouldn't Darth Vader be the ultimate henchman?
It's a valid point.
Yes and no.
I was thinking about that, actually.
Yes, because he's ultimately the henchman for the Emperor. No, because he has sub-henchmen under him, the Stormtroopers, who, by the way, have got to be considered some of the worst.
There's hench levels, I think, and I think that Vader certainly fits.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair,
Busey had underlings.
All henchmen do. You're just like a top-level henchman or not. But the other part of it is, the reason why I say no is because when these movies start, when Star Wars came out, the Emperor he was identified as being the main bad guy, kind of, but really it was Darth Vader that they were fighting. They weren't afraid of the Emperor showing up. They were afraid of Darth Vader showing up.
Really? Because a lot of them were afraid of the Emperor.
Well, that too. I mean, you could make the same point.
Dude has blue lightning in his fingers.
You could make the same point that in Lethal Weapon they weren't afraid of the main bad guy.
Mitchell Ryan
right,
showing
but they were afraid of Gary Busey showing up.
They should have been.
So I can
He was in Halloween 5. That's bad news.
Yes, I can see where that would go both ways. Where you could say yes, because he is a henchman for the Emperor. He has sub-hench people under him, and he does henchtivities, hashtag henchtivities. Or
that sounds like
because he's the leader.
Celebration.
He's the leader of the henchmen, and in fact, you know that he's so far in power because in the first movie he kills the general without a second thought.
Indeed, he does.
Right, Grand Moff Tarkin. He just chokes him out, and that's it. You're done. You're gone. You're the new admiral, buddy.
Dude couldn't even tap out.
Nope. Had no chance. All right. He choked like he was playing for the Heat. Okay, 347-326-9700. And we got Twitter.com @FrankUnicorn, show @FrankUnicorn.com. We're talking hench people.
One that I greatly enjoy, I don't know if he counts as a henchman because the villains in this movie were all kind of on the same level. But being me, I got to bring up a Superman movie. So from Superman 2, you got Zod, Ursa, and Non, and I got to give Non a bit of a nod as being sort of the ultimate henchman because another one who never speaks a word. He's just there to be a badass.
And he's very effective with it.
It's just the three of you. 4 if you count him twice. I mean, he's just huge. He walks through walls just to get to people, and I dig that.
And for effect, too, because there'll be a door,
and
but he doesn't care.
He'll just walk right through the wall.
No. Well, which, it adds to the character, because, okay, he's a space alien. What does he know? He's just, he's...
And I don't know if he counts as a henchman, because they were all three of them were kind of on the same level, but I think
he really though, because he and the woman, there was definitely a hierarchy to those three characters. There really was, and he was definitely the henchman.
Well, everyone has to kneel before Zod.
That's right. So he was definitely subservient to Zod. So he was definitely a henchman. Absolutely, he was not. And again, using the same definition that we apply to Darth Vader, because there's still someone that you answer to, therefore you're a henchman.
So I just had to give Jack O'Halloran some love.
Even if you overtake the main bad guy's spot as the main villain in the movie, which again, we pointed out how that happens all the time. The main bad guy just gets left to the dustbin when he gets, as soon as they're dead, the movie doesn't end, which you would think it would, because frankly, if you're a henchman, you're getting paid to hench for this guy. So if your employer dies, there's no more paycheck.
No.
Who cares? You know what, Mel Gibson? See ya.
Got to find out what kind of benefits you get for henching. But I got to bring up another one just because I love this movie and not enough people have seen it. It's a very recent movie, The Losers, which most people haven't seen.
I have not.
And I don't know why most people haven't seen it, because it's a ridiculously entertaining movie. The main villain is Max, played by the always great Jason Patric.
Okay.
And he's got a great henchman by the name of Wade, played by Holt McCallany, who has a really cool name, Holt McCallany.
The name Holt itself.
And I'm just going to say again because I like it, Holt McCallany. But he's just a great henchman because he gets to, do all the kind of badass stuff. He gets a great death that I'm not going to spoil for those who haven't seen the movie, but there's a Ducati and many explosions. And it's just, it's a blast. And
quite literally, apparently, with a Ducati.
Yes, but everyone, go rent The Losers.
All right.
That's all I was going for with that, because I know enough people haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it. But you want some good henching? You got Wade. Awesome.
All right, so we've gotten a good list going on so far of hench folk, right? We've got Snake the Kermit Killer. We've got Joaquin. We've got Busey from Lethal Weapon.
I'm going to keep saying that when you say Joaquin.
Odd Job. We've got Nod. We've got We've got Darth Vader, who was a good hench person. Sort of the ultimate henchman, really. Although again, I think Darth Vader has shown a clear lack of leadership. I think it's very clear that through the Star Wars movies, Darth Vader shows a clear lack of leadership. He can't train the stormtroopers to shoot straight or fire correctly. And you would think, I know they're clones. So, okay, fine, they're clones. Then just get one of them to do it correctly. Right, just one of the millions of stormtroopers. One of them to be able to hit a target. Clone that guy, you're in the clear.
One of my favorite lines in a movie, talking about stuff like that, there's a movie, Appaloosa. It's a Western with Ed Harris and Viggo Mortensen. And there's a moment that, should be like, in any other movie would be like the big showdown gunfight. That would be like, 15 minutes long. This goes, like, everyone pulls their guns. They all shoot for maybe less than 20 seconds. And, a couple people die, a couple people are just laying there. And Viggo Mortensen looks at Ed Harris. He goes, that was over fast. And Ed Harris looks at him and goes, everybody could shoot. Which I loved because everybody could shoot. They shot, everyone got hit. Some died, some didn't. Everyone could shoot. I thought that was great. There were no, little henchmen running around who couldn't hit, the side of a barn. Everyone could shoot.
Which you would think there's got to be some criteria or qualification to become a henchman. You would think there'd be some weapons training involved with that. Even your new employer hiring you to thug it out for him would,
Hey, and if they could do it in the Old West, you figure they could do it out in space.
You would have to agree with that. Now, I will say this. I love that because I think it's hilarious. And I do love where everyone gets shot because it's much more realistic when a gunfight lasts 20 seconds because it's not going to go on forever. It brings up another group that I wanted to bring up for henching, and that is the Disco Boys.
The Disco Boys?
Yeah. From Mystery Men.
Oh, see, I didn't like Mystery Men.
Now, but
seen it
Eddie Izzard plays the lead Disco Boy.
Was that the one where he had the big pompadour, or was that the Avengers?
The huge pompadour was Mystery Men. And when he comes out and he says, you can't hurt me. You can't hurt me, baby Bolo. I'm protected by the gods of hair care products. And he sprays out the hairspray and the flames come out. That is hilarious.
Boy, is that not making me want to see that movie.
That is hilarious. You need to rewatch Mystery Men and really learn to appreciate it It's got a lot of great elements to it. The henching in it is fantastic because they have a whole bunch of different groups. Now, they've got the disco boys. They've got the frat guys that are like another group of henchmen. They've got the model chicks that are henchmen. They've got subgroups of hench people, and they're all fantastic, and they're all great villains. And, of course, they all meet various, ends, and they all are defeated in various different ways by the mystery men who strike down the evil by using the mighty sword of friendship and not bickering.
The mighty sword of friendship.
And not bickering. You need to see that film. It's worth it just for William H. Macy.
I don't know that it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it really is.
I saw it when it came out, but on a lousy date. But
and Wes Studi as well. Wes Studi is hilarious as the Sphinx in that movie. Ben Stiller gets all the play, but that movie's all about the...
if you insist.
I insist. I do, in fact, insist. I had to come and watch a little bit of Batman, old school Adam West Batman, which was great. But if I'm going to watch that, you can, and if you can watch and enjoy that sort of camp, then you, sir, should enjoy some Mystery Men.
But the difference
was great henching.
That was less intentional camp. I mean, they were certainly intentionally campy, but it wasn't, for some Mystery Men, it's just trying too hard.
It's not, though.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So many great lines in that movie. It's so worth it. I mean, just for William H. Macy, the thing with the egg salad.
I haven't seen it. When did it come out? 98?
96.
I haven't seen it since then.
When they're discussing the death of Janine Garofalo's father, and I believe there was some controversy around the way he died, her best line ever in a film. Yes, that's right. Seems he came home late one night drunk and fell down an elevator shaft and landed on some bullets. Best line of her whole career. That is the funniest thing that she's ever said in a film.
Okay.
Really? You don't think so? You disagree? You beg to differ.
I beg.
Your opinion is not. You do not share the same opinion that I do.
Not.
You do not. All right. Well, that's good because we actually have our musical guest calling in, and this is a good point for us to take a little break here and listen to some music. We're going to talk to. I believe this is Casino Luchi. I hope it is. Let's talk to him. Caller, you're on the horn.
Oh no.
Hey,
Frank, what's happening? It's your boy Casino.
It's Casino. What's up, buddy?
Everything's good, baby. How you doing, man?
We're doing great. We're just talking about henching. So. It's good that you stepped in because I was going off on a Mystery Man tangent. I love the movie. We're talking about the henchmen from Mystery Men, and Beans is not a fan. So, although he's only admittedly seen the movie once on a bad date, so that should tell you that you need to watch it again.
Many moons ago.
Give it a chance. All right, Casino, tell us. Let's do that. Let's get to the music. Tell us. Well, first of all, you were our first musical guest that we ever actually had on the show.
Yes. I appreciate all the love and support, man.
Oh, well, we appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate your love and support. And frankly, I thought, it was a great turning point for our show to have you on that first time when we started doing this, So I'm excited that you're back now, and actually that this time we get to talk to you first and give you a little bit of time to set up this track because this is a track called I Have a Dream, and I understand this is featured on DJ Green Lantern's Invasion CD, and it's also going to be on MySpace. All right.
Yeah. It's going to be on that new CD, and you can check it on my MySpace page. And it's Casino Luchi / matter of fact, it's MySpace.com/LUCHI100. So
cool. And we're going to post.
The downloads will be on there.
Awesome. We'll post the links as well on our website. Of course, we're going to put the links up and put the links up for local music feature. Do you want to give us some setup for the song?
Yeah, well, basically it's just a song that I wrote maybe about a month ago, this and that, and it just the beat really came to me. I wanted to write something that really had a message, something that had a little bit of more like as I would say, texture or something right now. Because a lot of songs that's coming out really ain't got no message or something. I just want to do something different. So it has Martin Luther King in the background, and I let him ride out in the middle of it, and I sent it out there. Green Lantern picked it up to put on the CD, and now I'm promoting it heavy right now.
Awesome, dude. All right, so we're going to play it. I look forward to it. And, real quick, and my producer is hitting me with paper in the back of the head here. You've got some upcoming shows, is that right?
Yeah, actually, I have a show on the 17th. It should be at Area 7. And if anybody wanted more info about the show and stuff like that, it'll also be on my MySpace page as well. So you can check me on my MySpace page, or feel free to email me at mattapanluch@yahoo. That's MATTAPANLUCH @yahoo. So
awesome.
feel free to hit me up for any info.
All right, so we'll make sure as well that we put the links up for the show as well, and we'll put that on Twitter as well to see if we can, get the word out. All right, dude. Well, listen, I really thank you for calling in. Again, I really thank you for the contributions you made to the show in really letting us know that, hey, you know what, there's a lot of great music out there that we need to get a venue for, that we need to get some promotion for and to give a voice to.
Yeah, because there's a lot of voices out here that need to be heard. I mean, there's a lot of good young talent out there, and nowadays it's not really getting promoted or getting put out in the right spot. So if we don't support and help each other, then, I mean, we're just going to sit here, you know what I mean? So
You got
I'm
it.
definitely involved in what you're doing, Frank.
I appreciate it, man. You got the nail right on the head, and I really appreciate it, man. Listen, we're gonna play the track now. Casino, man, Luch, I really appreciate you calling in, man.
Yo, that's anytime. You know I got you, man. I know you for a while, man. I'm supporting you, baby. Do your thing.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, man.
All right, here we go. We're gonna play. That's Casino Luch, and we're gonna play this track. This is "I Have a Dream," and this one sounds like it's gonna be really, really great. So here we go.
Casino Luchi.
Today, my friend.
Yes. That underground click money. North Lauderdale.
The evil genius.
Time to stand
So even
up.
though we face the difficulties
Think about
of
your
today's
past.
tomorrow, I still have a dream.
I have a dream.
It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream. Green Lantern.
I too have a dream. My mom in a 3-story crib filled with shit she never seen. Papa heartstrong, no more surgeries. And my fam locked up, they set them all free. World that's safe, replace the poverty. Republic crushed by democracy. Malcolm, Marx, and Martin. Haile Selassie, I recognize as a problem. Katrina had a city filling up coffins. We died waiting on a president to resolve them. So often, I'ma keep the AK raised. Speaking out the window, waiting for that day. Hey, you fuckers wanna go to war, let's play. Don't be fooled cause they got slaves here in modern day. Living in disguise, but today surprise. They all recognizable, you see it in their eyes.
I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama,
The just us is in us, not the man turning to the Antichrist with the powers in their hand. They got the new world order, I got my own plan. Eliminate any man stepping foot on my land. The clock's ticking, tell me what's my 40 acres and a mule. I think you'd rather see us naked. Racism, society full of hatred. By any means necessary, Luchi gon' make it. Try to deny me success, but I'ma take it. I got a mind that inclines, I'm not basic. Corruption surround us, you gotta face it. Destruction, crossed by your own nation. Rewind history, read between the lines, but not like you're blind. Use your third eye. Through the struggle, we must strive to survive. And as one people, keep the dream alive. Hey, yo,
I have a dream
listen,
that
food
one
for
day
thought. Just think about it. What made you the man or woman that you are right now? A struggle.
All right, so Casino Luch, there we go. That's "I Have a Dream." We're back on the Frank the Unicorn radio program. I think that MP3 cut off a little bit before that song was all the way through, so we're probably going to need to see if we can, we'll get that and correct it on the podcast, and that way we'll post it on the YouTube channel as well, like we did with that bonus track from Goodman, so that we can make sure everyone hears that, because what a good track, man, and definitely socially relevant. And personally, just on a personal note, this is, just my opinion, but I have a bit of an affinity for any sort of socially relevant music, anything that has a message that is coming across. Again, even if it's not something I necessarily agree with, which in this particular case, of course, I do. Racial equality, there's no question that that's very important. But any sort of, I feel like it's a good thing as an artist when you have a certain perspective or point of view on something that comes across and gets expressed. And I think that one of the things that we have had a serious lack of recently is protest songs and protest singers. It's something that's coming back, and it's getting back into, it's making its way back into music, which I think is important. And one of the reasons why I think it's important, or I like it for this show, is because we largely stay away from consciously discussing these types of things because we want to be all-inclusive. We don't want to alienate ourselves or our audience from any specific point of view or opinion or discussion. So we are open to all of these things. So I like when we have music that is socially relevant, that does have a message, that's trying to do something else or something in a different way, whether it's the way they're doing that musically, which we've had a lot of the bands do that, or whether it's with the intent and the message of the music itself, like the song we just played, where, you know, this is actually a point of view that the artists themselves feel so strongly about that they need to express, that they are putting this in their music. And again, it's great because we can allow them to do that here without ourselves, you know, I hate to say it, but without putting our own butts on the line, you know, and alienating the audience that way. So, here we go. Deep in your tonsils, just a couple more henchmen. Clytus, Ming the Merciless is main henchman in Flash Gordon. Yeah. There's a movie that doesn't get discussed as much as it needs to.
Agreed.
Flash Gordon. The all-time second greatest soundtrack to any film ever. Okay.
I'm going to ask you about that.
Okay, well, I'll tell you. And Destro, Cobra Commander, is number 2, which in the G.I. Joe movie, yes, the character of Destro was okay, but it bothered me.
The movie, but I mean, just on the TV show.
On the TV show, absolutely. But in the movie, it bothered me that his head wasn't metal from day one.
Yeah.
Like, it should have been the silver shiny. That's Destro, right?
But you got Christopher Eccleston, you want to use him a little.
I agree, but you could use him with. It would be so easy to give him a CGI silver head. I mean, it would have been so simple to do that. Heck, they did it at the end of the movie anyway.
Hold it for the sequel.
You know, right? Hold it for the sequel. Which I was also disappointed with. Speaking of henchmen, Cobra Commander a little bit in that movie too.
Yeah.
Was not really there for me, but. You said about the soundtrack, yes. I think that the Flash Gordon soundtrack is my second favorite soundtrack of all time.
And first would be?
Well, you know, actually, now that I think about it, that's not even accurate. It's in the top 5, maybe top 10, because now I'm going, well, okay, the Muppet movie soundtrack is the best movie sound. My favorite movie soundtrack. It's great. It's genius. I love it. Rainbow Connection's on it. How Can You Go Wrong? Moving Right Along. All these great songs. Hope Something Better Comes Along. But the other one I was thinking of, which it's odd because it's not actually an official soundtrack. You can only get the music from the film itself, and that's Harold and Maude, where the early 1970s, 71, 72, and Cat Stevens did all that music, and there are so many great classic songs. And did you know that the best song from that movie, I think everyone can agree, is If You Want to Sing Out, Sing Out. It's the highlight of the movie. It's the theme of the movie. I mean, it sets the tone for the entire film.
Sure. It
ties the entire film together in a way that a lot of songs don't. Was never available commercially, ever, in any format. Was not on an album, was not on a cassette, was never put out on CD. It was only ever released with the film, on the film, and there was never a soundtrack for the film. Cat Stevens, Yusef Joseph Islam, as his name is now known, just recently recorded If You Want to Sing Out, Sing Out.
I did not know
Over 30, almost 40 years after the song made its debut, and it's such a classic, iconic song. And if you haven't heard it, go download it now. You know, you want to talk about a message song? That song's got a great message too. All right, I've rambled for a few minutes on these subjects. Beans,
Nothing wrong with rambling.
You've been staring at me as if to say, "Hey, shut up."
I start you that way all the time.
I know.
The whole show I have that look.
Yet it never works. Okay, so.
And after the show, and before the show.
And before the show,
and
okay.
Tomorrow.
Yes. We are about to get into our How Unicorn.
I see Stripes Jack.
Yep, you do. It's a How Unicorn Are You segment. We're about to start that now.
God.
We want your feedback on this one. 347-326-9700.
We stopped 9700. Is there a way to do that?
No.
Nothing I can do about it.
Stripes Jackson is. Here's the thing. You've given us your feedback on Bon Jovi. Stripes Jackson, yay or nay? We want to do a Twitter poll right now. We want either call us 347-326-9700, email us show@frankunicorn.com, or Twitter @frankunicorn. Yes or no on Stripes Jackson.
I still want to know if Deep in Your Tonsils is a Bon Jovi or a non-Jovi.
I would like to find that out too. So these are the things we want to know. We're looking for yay or nay. Are you Bon Jovi or non-Jovi? Okay. And Stripes Jackson should continue to make appearances in the How Unicorn Are You segment, or should be officially retired and we should start a new character to appear in these segments.
See, there's the problem right there.
347-326-9700. It's not going away. It's just going to change. Twitter @FrankUnicorn. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're getting into How Unicorn Are You. You know what to do if you want to play along with this segment. Here we go. How unicorn are you? First question. Worst attempt to connect with people over difficult economy. Neiman Marcus holiday sale. 25% off of things that you could never afford anyway. Or McDonald's changes the name of the Happy Meal to the Pissed Off Meal.
I would love to go and get a pissed off meal. So I'm going to have to go with the Neiman Marcus being the worst attempt.
The worst attempt?
Yeah.
So McDonald's should change the Happy Meal to the Pissed Off Meal. And now here's my question.
Have you ever left McDonald's happy?
No.
Exactly.
But here's the thing now. So my question is this. What type of prize would be included in a Pissed Off Meal? Can't be a toy.
Garfield toys.
Garfield toys because they make you angry? Okay. I guess that works. That's fair enough. With all due respect to Jim Davis. Or with no respect to Jim Davis, I guess.
I was specifically thinking of Garfield the movie, actually.
Garfield the movie, okay. So not Garfield the classic cartoon strip and or animated series with Lorenzo Music, rest in peace.
Mm. So I think that was oddly circular because Lorenzo Music did the voice of Garfield on the cartoon,
right.
And then Bill Murray did it in the movie. And Lorenzo Music also did the voice of Peter Venkman in the Real Ghostbusters
That's
cartoon.
true. Well, because
there's a neat little circular thing.
Because if you've ever listened to Lorenzo Music, rest in peace, he sounds exactly like Bill Murray. That's just, I mean, he sounds exactly like.
It's not so much that he sounds like him, it's that he's got the same kind of cadence, the same kind of, I'm a little bit above this, but I'm going to say it anyway delivery, which is great.
Which would be similar in delivery to Bill Murray.
Similar in delivery, but I mean, like his voice is
kind of sounds like.
You can very easily tell the difference when you hear.
Stripes Jackson.
Your eyes are closed. Lorenzo Music walks into the room.
Stripes Jackson.
First of all, yay, zombie technology. Second of all, you would know that was Bill Murray that was Lorenzo Music speaking and not Bill Murray.
Zombie technology. That's fantastic. That's something we should explore.
I'm sure you will.
When the dead aren't dead, they're undead. Zombie tech. All right. We're back to how unicorn are you. All right, here we go. Better premise for a holiday movie. I know this will be tough for you.
I already
Just get through it, okay? Better premise for a holiday movie. Undercover Santa. Steven Seagal goes undercover as Santa Claus to track and bust an international ring of midget jewel thieves posing as children. Or Santa Claus, spelled C-L-A-W-S.
Really, I couldn't tell that from the way you said it.
Right. Stripes Jackson is Santa Claus, a wisecracking hip anthropomorphic.
C-L-A-U-S or
W-S.
Okay.
Stripes Jackson is Santa Claus, a wisecracking hip anthropomorphic alley cat Santa who helps Bill Maher find the true meaning of Christmas. Presents.
See, it's a tough call because I hate to vote for anything with Stripes Jackson, but I also feel Bill Maher needs more work. So, and I love it when Bill Maher shows up in movies, such as Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death, and House 2, The Second
Story. Which is,
I love that
it's
title.
still the best tagline. We said this before. It's the best tagline for any sequel in the history of film, aside from Electric Boogaloo. I mean,
but
really.
I like The Second Story.
I think The Second Story for House is fantastic.
But I'm going to vote for the other one because I refuse to vote for Stripes Jackson.
So you're going with Undercover Santa. You're going Seagal.
The hopeful look you had.
Seagal fighting midgets.
Yeah.
That's what you're going for during Christmas.
The hopeful look you had when I started talking about the other one, it's breaking my heart a little bit.
You would rather see Steven Seagal as Santa Claus. By the way, he needs no fat suit. Fighting with midgets pretending to be children.
I would even be okay with him fighting with actual children. In fact, I think I'd see that movie sooner.
Seagal.
Just beating the crap out of little kids.
Oh, my.
Tell me you wouldn't go to that movie.
Seagal v. Kinder. It's going to happen. All right. All right. So, look, yeah, we're doing How Unicorn Are You?
But who would their henchmen be? They'd have to have
They'd have a little bit taller midget as the main bad guy, and then they'd have the smaller ones as the henchmen.
Well, no, but I mean, if you're using actual children, I would like to think that
the
main bad guy would have to be like a former child star, like your Macaulay Culkin or something.
Danny Bonaducci.
Or Danny Bonaducci would be a good one, but then who would the henchmen be?
Todd Bridges, hello.
Well played.
All right. Okay, see, how do I come up with these off the top of my head? That way. Right off the horn. Okay.
Let's be honest, you're always thinking about Todd Bridges.
I am, because I love Willis so much. What you talking about? All right. So we're doing How Unicorn Are You? If you want us to retire,
we're make a real action movie out of it. What you talking about, Bruce Willis?
There you go. So we're actually, that's a good one. That's a damn good one. I'm glad. You know what? I'm ashamed that I didn't think of that for How Unicorn Are You up to this point. With all the bad movie premises I try to put in there, how did I not think of What You Talking About, Bruce Willis?
I don't know.
A buddy comedy starring Todd Bridges and Bruce Willis.
I like that you gave Todd Bridges top billing on that one.
Hey, why not?
Gonna sell some
all right, Bruce Willis and Todd Bridges. And here's the best part of it. Bruce Willis has to play Bruce Willis.
That's right.
He has to be just Bruce Willis. Todd Bridges gets into a series of negative adventures, and he needs
careers die hard.
Well, and he needs Bruce Willis's help to get out of these things, right? Because Johnny Cochran's not around to bail him out anymore. You shot a guy in a crack house, Todd Bridges. Okay, it doesn't look good for you. Whatever, you're doing fine. You're working with Bonaducci and Leif Garrett and everybody and Tanya Harding.
Yeah.
You know, that's thumbs up. All right. You know what? Now Todd Bridges is going to gang up with Willie Ames and come after us. I see that happening. We're playing How Unicorn Are You? If you want us to get rid of, if you're yay or nay, we're looking for two things. Yay or nay on either Stripes Jackson, yay or nay on Bon Jovi. You're a Bon Jovi or a non-Jovi. All right, we're getting something here. All right. Deep in your tonsils, although I am from Jersey, there's no way I'm a non-Jovi. Sir,
at least I can hold that hope that he's a Springsteen fan.
Well, he's required by law to be a Springsteen fan if he's from Jersey.
That's true.
You have to like Bon Jovi or Springsteen if you're from Jersey. That's the way it works. If you don't, Stripes Jackson will show up at your house and cut you.
The weird part is I've become like this defender. I'm not even that big a Bon Jovi fan. Like I think they're all right, but I don't think it's like a big deal. But I think it's funny that people are violently against Bon Jovi.
I don't think they're just so against him as much as it's just not their thing.
But a lot of people do. Like the reaction you had. Like I pooped on your grandma. As soon as you saw the Bon Jovi CD, you were like, you just gave me that. You just pooped on my grandma look.
I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's go back to the list. All right. How Unicorn Are You? That's what we're doing. All right.
Yeah.
Which of Donald Duck's, here's a question, which of Donald Duck's nephews is most likely to get busted driving drunk?
Louie.
Huey?
Louie.
Dewey or Louie? It's actually Dewey.
No, it's Louie.
Because DUI is...
I know, it's Louie.
Yeah, it's Louie. Okay.
Kid is a lush.
He is. He's got a problem?
Big problem.
Quack, quack. All right. Construction idea whose time has come. LCD paint or Weeblo's porta potty?
I need you to describe those to me because I don't know what that means on either case.
LCD paint would be this. You would have paint, okay, that would be a photoreactive paint. You paint a wall with it, you put a small current through it, and all of a sudden, wherever you've painted, now a giant LCD screen. You can plug something into it and display it on that painted surface. Seems
like there'd be way too much going on.
You think so?
I think people would paint their entire houses with that and just project a better looking house.
And I think that, and that's why I'm serious. I really think LCD paint could catch on. It could happen. That could be a legitimate invention.
Fires. I don't know.
Potentially. I mean, I'm sure there'd be a way to do it. All right. Or a Weeblo's porta potty. Now, you know what Weeblo's are. Weeblo's wobble, but they don't fall down.
I work with one of those.
So could you imagine? That's wow. I hope your coworkers aren't listening now, but you didn't say which one, which is good.
And I won't.
But yeah, Weeblo's porta potty. You think about it, you can't tip it over. It's a non-tippable porta potty. Although I guess it's probably worse that it's just flopping around back and forth, spraying filth everywhere, all over the interior.
Yeah, I think porta potties are better, nailed to the ground. I don't think they need to wobble in any direction.
I've pushed a few porta potties over in my lifetime.
Sure you have.
In fact, my first date with Mrs. the Unicorn, we knocked over a porta potty together. She was in it with me. That's right.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I'm quitting the show.
We really, really did. There was no one in it at the time. I never would have been brave enough to do that.
There's a Stephen King story where a guy's locked in a porta potty for a while baking in the sun, and just after sunset. It's not a pleasant story.
That's a horror story. All right. Okay.
I forgot what the story's called. The last story and just after sunset.
All right. So we agree then the LCD paint would be a better invention than the Weeblo's porta potty?
Even though I still don't really know what it is, yes.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay. Fact. Just a fact. Facts. Pilgrims were obviously cheap. They landed on Plymouth Rock. They should have landed on Cadillac Rock.
I thought Plymouth Rock landed on them.
Well, according to Mr. X. See, let me say this joke again since you kind of blew it there.
Oh, fact, no, I heard the joke.
I'm going to do it again.
I was ignoring it.
I'm going to do it again. Pilgrims
Really?
were. Yeah, someone might not have heard it.
What if I keep stopping?
Yeah, it's okay. Pilgrims
Can
were.
I please keep stopping?
Yeah, it's funny. All right, Pilgrims were obviously cheap. They landed on Plymouth Rock. They should have landed on Cadillac Rock. No? All right.
It's the Cadillac of landing places.
It is. All right. Worst punishment for Travolta. We all agree Travolta needs to be punished for any number of offenses. But worst punishment for Travolta.
Wasn't Be Cool punishment enough?
You know what? I'm going to mention two things in the answer that Travolta deserves punishment for. You'll see where this is going. Worst punishment for Travolta has to make a sequel to the film The Experts with Ari Gross, or forced to watch Battlefield Earth for 2 straight weeks.
I like Aria Gross. So I'm going to go, who was also in House 2, the second story. So I'm going to go...
It's a theme. I like Ari Gross too. However, you couldn't have possibly liked the movie The Experts.
I don't remember the movie The Experts. I remember Travolta having terrifying hair in that movie. But
As did Ari Gross, by the way.
I'm going to go with the sequel to The Experts because I want Ari Gross, who no longer has hair, to get more work.
All right. Let's send a tweet out to Ari Gross just to reach out to him and tell him we're thinking about him.
He's on Twitter?
I don't know. Can he afford to own a computer? I have no idea.
If he's on Twitter, I should be following him. I didn't know that he was.
He was in a movie, and I can't remember, with Claudia Christian, where she was a supermodel, and he had kind of like he was getting. And I don't remember the name of the movie, but I remember it very well. Where it was rather funny comedy, black comedy, where Ari Gross was in love with this model played by Claudia Christian, and it turns out that she was actually a serial killer. And she was targeting him to be a victim, and that was why she was interested in him. Which it doesn't sound like it would be funny at all. It doesn't sound like it'd be a comedy. It actually was, and I can't remember the name of it, and I hope you're looking it up now.
I am looking it up right now.
Okay, good. Real quick, let's do. How unicorn are you? That's what we're doing. 347-326-9700. Buying time for Ari Gross right now. And Twitter at Frank the Unicorn. No Ari Gross on Twitter. Again, the guy has no computer. He can't afford a computer. I'm sure.
He's on some show now. He's on.
He could go to the library. I mean, he could be doing something. All right. We're looking to see. We haven't gotten any votes on Stripes Jackson, have we? Not one. People are so anti-Stripes Jackson. I don't know why. He's an amazing character. Certainly better than Bon Jovi. Yeah, that's right. I said it.
I never said Bon Jovi could act.
Actually, I kind of like Bon Jovi as an actor. I can't believe it. Yeah, I prefer him as an actor over as opposed to being a movie star.
I've only seen
opposed to being
two
a
of
musician.
his movies, one of which is my least favorite movie ever made.
And that would be Pay It Forward, okay.
The other was...
Big stinker.
Yeah, was No Looking Back, which is not a great movie. But
Ed Burns movie.
But it makes me super homesick for Long Island because it was clearly shot on location.
Yes.
And had a great Long Island feel to it. And it makes me homesick.
And I believe music by Tom Petty on that one as well. And
Castle, that's what he's been on.
An underrated movie, by the way, No Looking Back. Lauren Holly, John Bon Jovi, one of his first movies, if I'm not mistaken, and Ed Burns, and one of Ed Burns' better films, one of his more mature movies. I actually really enjoyed it. So glad you brought that one up. Go ahead.
Go back to Ari Gross here.
Yeah.
The reason I realized he was on something recently was that he was on Castle, but also apparently he was in a reenactment of the Proposition 8 trial.
Oh, wow. That's
fascinating.
That's good work for you.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what that other movie was. It was like
90.
I believe it was 92.
92-ish?
92-ish. 92 to 94, but it should be 92 or 93. And I'm thinking 92.
A lot of TV.
Well, he's a professional. He's Ari Gross. While you're doing that, next question for How Unicorn Are You? Odds that Tom Selleck's obituary does not contain the fact that he was almost Indiana Jones.
No chance.
No chance at all. None.
None. Zero.
It's the second thing mentioned after the mustache.
A little bit less than zero.
Is that mentioned before Magnum P.I.? Or is it mentioned in concert with Magnum P.I. that he did not get the role because he decided to be Magnum P.I. instead?
Was the movie The Opposite Sex and How to Live with Them?
No, that was the one with Courtney Cox, actually. That was not a well, yeah, that was pretty bad.
Okay.
That was with Courtney Cox where he met Courtney Cox at a baseball game.
Was it Hexed? That
is the one, Hexed. Thank you. Hexed. Okay.
An erotic thriller that casts a wicked spell?
That would be the one, but it's really more of a comedy. All right, so here we go. How unicorn are you? Next question. More unlikely sequel scenario to find yourself trapped in. Bomb on runaway yacht, forced to maintain breakneck speed just like that time you were on a bus in L.A. with Keanu. Or, I'm not going to give up VCR tapes after I was almost killed by one when I watched it and the scary chick crawled out of the TV, I just can't get used to DVDs.
It's weird to me that The Ring didn't come out all that long ago, and it's already so outdated.
Yes.
Because any kid watching it now probably wouldn't even recognize the videotape.
Like, what the hell's a VCR? What is that? But, I mean, okay, think about this. You just had this whole experience in The Ring with this videotape. I would not watch anything pre-recorded.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even watch pre-recorded TV. Like, you know what? Is it on live? No, not watching it. I am not taking the chance.
I'm pretty sure I would move the TV out of my house after the wet, scary chick crawled out of it.
Right. I'd be like, you know what? I don't need DVR. I don't need TiVo.
I don't need TV.
I can read, and I have an imagination.
I got a radio.
And you know what? Nothing's going to come out of my imagination.
I've got the Frank the Unicorn radio program.
That's exactly right. That is a safe program.
I don't need television.
Worst case scenario, they talk about Stripes Jackson,
which is pretty bad.
They maybe mention Sharktopus, but you know what? Everyone survives. No unicorn crawling out of your computer speakers trying to kill you.
If your tonsils die 7 days from now, we're in a lot of trouble.
I know we are. And actually, I thought about it with Tom Selleck too. If God forbid if anything happens to Tom Selleck, then I'm really done for. Because apparently I've killed Desmond Llewelyn and Leslie Nielsen, which we'll talk about that in a minute.
And there go my Jesse Stone movies, which I don't want those to stop.
See? Well, okay.
Knock it off.
All right. Next question. Okay. In order to inherit distant relatives' giant mansion full of antiques, you must either A, spend a night in the mansion which is supposedly haunted, or
I've seen that movie once or twice,
or allow the cast of Jersey Shore to throw a televised hot tub party there, which, by the way, carries a risk of the entire house getting herpes.
House herpes?
House herpes.
Horrible. Since I don't want to have anything whatsoever to do with Jersey Shore, I'm going to have to go with spend a night in the haunted place.
I would agree with that. I would also go for that. All right.
Better hauntings than herpes.
Yes, that's right. Hauntings can stop. Okay. Let's see. That's a political one. We're going to skip over that. Okay. Henchman fact: for a better chance of survival.
Change it to talk show host.
No.
Go on.
I really can't. Henchman fact: for a better chance of survival while attacking Steven Seagal, it is best to attempt to attack him not only early, see the rule of progressive badassery, but also in a windowless room, and never outside.
Yeah, windowless room's a good idea.
Yeah, can't break your wrist, throw you through a window.
He's gonna break your wrist and
throw you through the window. Right. So you attack him in a windowless room, and never ever outside. Never outside, because there could be a ditch he could throw you into. He could throw you into the middle of the street, in front of a bus, off a cliff, into a tree, impale you on a fence. Any number of these things could occur if you attack him outside. Don't do it. Windowless room, preferably with padding in the room.
But whatever room you're in, he's going to find something to impale you on.
Or throw you through.
Yeah.
Okay? You could be
You're going through drywall.
You could be in a room with diamond walls, and you're going to go through one of them when Seagal gets his hand on your wrist. It's going to happen. All right. Okay. Better knockoff fast food name: Burger Thing or Rick Donald's?
I'd have to go with Rick Donald's, though. Kind of want Woundies right now.
Woundies? That sounds disgusting.
Doesn't it?
You'd have to cover everything in ketchup. Woundies. Oh, God. That is nasty. You get a bullet hole in your burger, right? Why is there a knife in my fries? What is this? All right. Okay. This is actually a Frank the Unicorn radio program related question. Segment I would like to see return to the show. This Week in History, or Who Would You Cast?
I like the Who Would You Cast stuff. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah? That's another one.
You kind of miss the actor you recognize but don't know. We were getting too close to using actors that people actually knew.
Right. Well, you know what? We don't have one on the list this week. We will bring that segment back. We will, because that is a good segment.
So I'm going to throw Holt McCallany out there, even though you probably don't know him and wouldn't even recognize him.
That's all the more reason.
I like that name enough.
All the more reason to discuss Holt, aside from the fact that his name is Holt.
Indeed.
Almost as cool a name as Hoyt.
But I'll go with another one who's a fine henchman. He has henched in many movies, including the Steven Seagal classic On Deadly Ground.
Oh, boy.
Mr. John C. McGinley.
John C. McGinley. Also, Arlie Emery was a henchman in On Deadly Ground. He was the lead henchman.
But yes, he was.
Yes. Well, there you go. He's going to yell at me. Oh, well. All right.
Yes, he is.
Okay. So, all right. So maybe we'll bring back Who Would You Cast? We'll have to see what we get in response to that on the Frank line and on Twitter. Okay. More disappointing holiday gift: low-value gift card to pricey coffee place, or leftover package of oddly flavored candy canes.
You know, I still have a coffee place gift card that someone gave me for Christmas 3 years ago. I've never used it.
Because it's like a $5 gift card and the coffee's like $20.
Right. It's still in my wallet in case I ever go there, but I'm not really a coffee place guy. So
Thanks for this. You should have given me a coupon.
But I'm going to have to go with the candy canes because some of those off-flavored ones are truly horrendous.
I agree. Chocolate candy canes? No.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
Bad
idea. All right. Cinnamon flavored candy canes. Like, just, you know.
Go away.
Yeah.
No.
Stick with the classics.
Ooh.
Stick with the classics.
Yes.
Right?
Your
Okay.
peppermint or your whatever that weird fruity one is. That's it.
That's it. Okay. Better way to upset Santa Claus when he visits your house. Undecorated stockings hung with obvious lack of care, or healthy snack of carrots and mineral water replaces Santa's preferred snack of sugar cookies and bourbon.
You know, Santa could stand to lose a few pounds, so I mean he'll be pissed at the carrots and water, but he also had a whole lot of cookies and bourbon that night.
It's very true. My feeling is
every time Santa crawls in my chimney, he always kind of smells like bourbon. So I assume that he's had a great deal. Except for that one time we got to Phoebe Case's house. That was a sad night.
That was terrible. I kind of feel like, well, James Caan is no fan of Santa Claus, nor is Rebecca Gayheart. For those of you who have not seen Santa's Sleigh, you need to watch it.
You do.
We're going to talk about that movie next week, I think. But, you know, yeah, I kind of feel like, look, Santa shows up. By the time he gets to the snacks, he's already placed the gifts, right? So at that point,
I mean, he could take them back.
He's got to go to every house. He's got to deal with the reindeer. They've got attitude and gas. It's not, you know, he's flying behind them. It's not a good situation. He's been doing this for thousands of years. He's just tired.
Magical elf loaded with bourbon.
He's just tired of it. He's probably loaded from all that bourbon. And, you know, he's already placed the gifts. He's not going to go and take them back.
I guess that's
He's probably too drunk to know which gifts he left, right? So, but I feel like if he arrives on the scene and sees that the stockings are carelessly hung, haphazardly hung, with a lack of care, that may anger him, and he may think, you know, I'm not going to put a present in that stocking just to show you, just to prove a lesson to you, right? Whereas, again, Santa, you could at least justify the gifts, too. You're like, hey, Santa, look, man, I'm sorry I didn't hang the stockings real well, but, you know, at least I gave you cookies. Is that better than, Santa, look, I really spent so much time hanging these stockings. I used so much care on hanging these exactly the way that you'd prefer them to be hung to make your gift leaving as easy as possible. Mm-hmm. I had no time to bake the cookies. Therefore, rather than insult you with prepackaged cookies, which may have questionable ingredients, I decided to give you a healthy snack of carrots and mineral water. Yeah. Although Santa would still be pissed that you didn't pour bourbon for him. Because, you know, bourbon and, you know, water, so much easier. Just leave the bottle. That's what really Santa really wants. Just leave the bottle.
All right, moving on.
All right. We killed that one. Okay. Yes, we did. All right. Following the theme, reindeer most likely to leave Santa's team to appear on reality television show. Is it Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, or Rudolph?
It's Vixen.
You think so?
Vixen's got a little Kardashian going on.
Mrs. the Unicorn said Vixen as well. I said Dancer. There's so many dancing programs.
Maybe if she's private dancer.
Dancing with the Stars. So you think you can dance. Like she could hoof it on any of those
They
shows.
all contain Vixen.
Let me say that again. She could hoof it.
Yeah, you didn't have to say it again.
On any of those shows. Okay. Vixen? We're going with Vixen. Is it Vixen? Vixen's the answer? Vixen? All right. Okay. Hanukkah Harry, yay or nay?
I got to go with nay, but I do enjoy John Lovitz.
Really? I think I got to go with yay on Hanukkah Harry, because I think anything that gives Hanukkah, advances Hanukkah in the realm of end-of-the-year holidays, that brings it even somewhat closer to Christmas, and puts it further in front of, say, Kwanzaa or Boxing Day is a good positive thing.
I think Boxing Day, in theory, is a great idea, but
it's Canadian. That's the problem.
But it's British, but that's what we should be celebrating. It's a day to give back.
Nitpicking.
It's a day to give to people who are in need.
Isn't that also what Christmas is all about?
No, Christmas is about giving your kids presents to shut them up.
Right, as illustrated by the film with Stripes Jackson and Bill Maher. See how I did that to you? I'm a genius. All right. Okay.
Do we have something sharp?
Yes. Okay. My horn, as a matter of fact. Too bad it's on my head and not usable by you. Okay. Who would you rather Okay, yeah. You're giving the look to her. She can't help you. I'm right in front of you. All right.
She might be able to help me.
I don't know.
She
who
knows
would
how to stop you.
important
She knows your kryptonite.
important question. Who would you rather trust to save Christmas a second time? Ernest or Kiss?
Ernest.
Really? You trust Ernest over Kiss?
Absolutely.
Kiss has an entire army that can assist them in saving Christmas, by the way.
I saw online the other day, someone mocked up a fake Criterion edition cover for Ernest Goes to Jail.
Oh, God.
And it might be the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Randall Tex Cobb, one of our favorites, was in Ernest Goes to Jail. Just to mention Randall Tex Cobb. I would go for Kiss. I would want Kiss to save the world, to save Christmas.
I don't want Kiss to do anything.
I want Chris to save Christmas because if they're saving Christmas, guess what they're not doing? Making music, singing, playing records. Okay. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Isn't it?
John H. Cherry III's. John H. Cherry directed, I think, every Ernest movie, did he not?
I have no idea.
I believe he did.
I've never paid that much attention to the Ernest movie.
I believe he did.
I can tell you who directed all 11 Friday the 13th, but I couldn't tell you anything.
And as well every Nightmare on Elm Street and
there's only a few of those.
Well, there's only 6 of those. Yes, you're
8
slipping.
if you count Freddy vs. Jason. 9 if you count that god awful remake.
You see, you just proved my point again. You know nothing of Nightmare on Elm Street. That was sarcasm. All right. Last question. Actor more likely to come back and haunt me for possibly killing them, Desmond Llewelyn or Leslie Nielsen?
That's easy. Desmond Llewelyn. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
First of all, he's got all the gadgets to do it. But second of all...
It'd be very intimidating.
Yes. Leslie Nielsen, you didn't kill. I'm sorry to disappoint you. But
Thank you. Can we tweet that out that Beans now admits that I did not kill Leslie Nielsen?
I never said otherwise.
You sent me a text. Leslie Nielsen is dead. Oh, my God. I think you killed him.
No, I didn't. I sent you a text that said Leslie Nielsen R.I.P. with a little sad face. That's all it was.
You did. You accused me of killing Leslie Nielsen.
You of killing Leslie Nielsen.
I did a whole website post about it.
You accused yourself of killing Leslie. Because when I told you
Leslie
Nielsen...
You know what? Be a Bunny on Twitter accused me of killing... Accused us of killing Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen, but we never said anything like, oh, man, he's looking terrible or anything. Like, we didn't do that. All we said, we had just talked about him.
To be fair.
Desmond Llewelyn, you came right out and said, man, when is he going to die? And the next day
But to be fair, we had the discussion about Desmond Llewelyn during the Leslie Nielsen segment, if I recall.
That may be.
And that was where the connection came in, because I was saying, I hope this doesn't happen to Leslie Nielsen. 3 weeks later, it does.
I don't remember. That may be.
I believe that's the case, and it's very sad.
Desmond Llewelyn, there's no question. You murdered him.
I did not murder him.
There's no question.
I was not involved in that.
You, sir, killed Desmond Llewelyn.
I'm defending myself.
When is he going to die? Oh, tomorrow, apparently. That is science.
It wasn't even the next. It was like mere hours after I said it. Yeah. I know. I swear I didn't do it. I
in a car accident. Did they ever find the other guy? Because I think it was
you. He was mysteriously impaled by some object. Yeah. We don't know what it was.
But his wrists were broken, and he went through the window. I think you did it.
I hired Seagal as a henchman. I put him in the back seat, and he just took care of things.
How badass you have to be for Seagal to be your henchman?
You got to be pretty badass. You'd have to be the ultimate. That's the ultimate in badassery is to have Seagal as a henchman. Here's the thing. How badass of a hero, well, apparently you just have to be Danny Trejo. How badass of a hero, Trejo. How badass of a hero do you have to be to defeat Seagal as the henchman?
Well, technically, Danny Trejo didn't do that.
That's true, because as Seagal said, I could still kill you very easily.
He took it upon himself.
Yes, he did. He did, in fact, kill himself in that movie. Which still remains
way to spoil the movie.
Which still remains the best. Which still remains one of the best henchman deaths.
Yeah.
Again, when you especially.
Sorry, everybody, if you were planning to see it.
Especially when combined with the accent. Okay, so that's the How Unicorn Are You segment. We are still looking for the feedback to see if we're going to save Stripes Jackson. Anyone on Twitter giving us anything for Stripes Jackson? Because we want to know.
Nobody cares.
If we're going to.
The worst part is he's still got 8 lives.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Not on this show. He's got 1 life. He's gonna we're gonna get a Twitter vote, 1 Twitter vote to say keep him, 1 Twitter vote to say send him to the kennel, and that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna go one way or the other. It's either gonna be Stripes Jackson yes or Stripes Jackson no. Right now it's 3-1 no on Bon Jovi.
But will Bill Murray do his voice in the movie?
No, because there won't be a movie if people vote against him. But Stripes Jackson needs to have a better, it can't be Bill Murray. People aren't going to, he's done the cat thing. That's not going to work. We've got to find someone great to do the voice of Stripes Jackson. I'm thinking Will Arnett.
He should do more voiceover.
Right? He's got a great voice.
He does.
He's hilarious. Not much to look at. Perfect for voiceovers.
That's not right.
I'm just...
Wow.
I had to take a little poke at Will Arnett there. He deserves it. He loves it. He's a good sport.
Sorry, Amy Poehler.
He's a good sport. He's a good sport.
I think he's a handsome man.
You think Will? Yes, he is a handsome man.
I think
okay,
he's
all
a
right.
handsome man.
So you got 2 out of 3. He's ahead of Bon Jovi. All right. This Week in Bacon. It's time for This Week in Bacon. Now, ThinkGeek.com, website we love, they always feature great bacon products, and we get a lot of our stuff from them. Okay, as far as bacon goes. This one is great. It's called it's. This is My First Bacon, and what this is, it's a stuffed plush bacon stuffed animal that talks. Okay, and it's so amazingly cool that they even have a little commercial for it on ThinkGeek. They have a little video, and I'm going to play it real quick so you can see it and the folks at home can hear it. Now, we're going to put the link on the website so you can check this product out because this is sort of the ultimate bacon item as far as bacon gifting goes. So here, check this out.
Bacon gifting?
Bacon gift. Here we go.
Everyone loves bacon.
Little girl's holding a unicorn in this, by the way.
Yeah, because little girls love unicorns.
Everyone loves unicorns.
Bacon. Boys love bacon too.
I've got that. Well, I've got Superman.
Well, I've got bacon. I'm bacon.
Cool.
Even Mom loves bacon. I'm bacon.
Alright, if you're looking for the show, you've got a friend in meat.
You've got a friend in meat. That is absolutely
Wow.
right. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Top that, Randy Newman.
That is fantastic.
If you're listening to the show, you owe it to yourself to watch that.
It's hilarious. It's absolute. The visuals are hilarious.
That moment alone. Whoa.
Just the fact that it's a talking bacon stuffed animal or bacon stuffed toy, I guess, plush toy. That the mouth moves and it was technically it's part of an animal.
And you know what? It's vegan friendly.
It is, and it's kosher, and it's just absolutely hilarious. And check it out. If you decide to order one, just mention that you heard it on the show, because that'll be great. I want to call him the Bacon Buddy, but the Bacon Buddy is actually a bubble gun that they have there as well that shoots bacon-flavored bubbles for dogs to play with. Yep, that's right.
Did you just say bacon-flavored bubbles for dogs to play with?
Yep, bacon-scented and flavored bubbles for dogs to play with.
What's that sound I hear? Oh, it's the other three horsemen.
There you go. All right. And then we've got a recipe for bacon and cheddar stuffed mushrooms, courtesy of allrecipes.com, that we are going to post on the website as well. And believe me, bacon and cheddar stuffed mushrooms, that is some tasty, right?
You know why?
Why?
Because you've got a friend in meat. That is a wonderful tagline.
I'm telling you, it's a great product. That's why I put it up there. I'm hoping, hint, that Mrs. the Unicorn, hint, hint, will surprise me, hint, for Hanukkah, hint, with a hint, My First Bacon plush buddy.
Hanukkah's more than halfway over. You don't have much time.
It is, and it's pretty funny to get giant bacon for Hanukkah, if you think about it. Okay. Especially that talks and says, I'm bacon. Okay. So that's our How Bacon Are You. Now, we're going to get to our final segment here. And again, we're still looking for feedback. If you want to save Stripes Jackson, you have the power to do that. You simply need to call 347-326-9700 or contact us on Twitter or via email.
Don't you understand what's happening?
Tell me. Tell me what's happening.
What's happening?
Explain it to me.
Is not one person can muster up enough of a rat's ass to vote in this.
What a great... To save Stripes Jackson, the anthropomorphic cat, you can't come up with a rat's ass.
Not 1/8 of one rat's ass.
Not even a bit of rat ass cheek. Not a little bit of rat cheek.
No.
No rat butt cheek. Not even part of the tail, a portion of the tail or the hindquarters.
Nothing.
No one gives a rat's taint,
Nobody.
if you will. Right? If
Right.
Stripes Jackson returns to the show.
Would be a good bad name.
Rat's taint would be a good... Please, look, if you want Stripes Jackson off the show, Tell us that too.
I think they are.
Either way,
Pretty sure that's exactly what they're
You're
telling
saying
us.
the silence speaks volumes.
I am saying
Okay.
that.
All right. Well, then let's get to our final segment, okay? This is called Unicorns on Fire. And I know that you would love to set certain unicorns on fire. It's pretty obvious which ones, considering there's only one and it's me, right?
Sure.
Okay. The reason this is a new segment, and what we're doing with this, unicorns are so hot right now in terms of pop culture. They're being mentioned everywhere. They're on everything. The Simpsons, for example. The Simpsons hired the graffiti artist Banksy. He's a really well-known graffiti artist, probably one of the most famous.
Exit through the gift shop. Yeah.
Right. One of the most famous graffiti artists in the world. Hired him to do an opening for the show. He did. Featured a unicorn, right? The unicorn was actually, they were using the horn to press DVDs, to poke the middle of the holes out of DVDs. And it looked very sad. The unicorn was chained to the wall, and it was very sad.
Everybody was sad. That was the bleakest opening.
It really, really was. Ever. It was a total downer. It was bad.
You know what's bleaker? The episode. But let's move on.
The season. Okay. But that's just one example. Unicorns have been mentioned on 30 Rock. They've mentioned Michael Ian Black has mentioned unicorns. They've been mentioned on Community by Professor Professorson. Unicorns are everywhere right now. They're so freaking hot. Even in the commercial for the Bacon Buddy, for the bacon stuffed toy for ThinkGeek, the little girl is holding a unicorn through most of that commercial.
Little girls love unicorns.
Everyone loves unicorns. Unicorns are hot right now. There was a reporter from the LA Times, Linda Kozlowski, right? No, I'm totally ruining this. All right, anyway, it doesn't matter. A reporter from the LA Times
was the lady from the
Crocodile Dundee movies, right? I was distracted. Okay, would have been better if they were Unicorn Dundee. That would have been awesome. That's not a unicorn.
I quit.
All right, the show's over, folks. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're talking unicorns, and there's a website, allaboutunicorns.com, that you can go to. This will give you your unicorn primer and your differences about. This gives you the differences with how unicorns are viewed or discussed in different cultures throughout the world, and they're all pretty much the same, which is that it's a white horse with a single horn, and that's it. And the horn has magic powers and whatnot. We know that unicorns aren't horses because I've explained this many times that they're not. They're actually people with a genetic, deformity, a genetic variance in their DNA that causes them to grow a horn on their head. So I appreciate all about unicorns and how they're discussing unicorns and they're letting it be known about unicorns. However, they're giving misinformation. But still check it out because it's fun to read through some of the differences of the different cultures and how people perceive unicorns and what they're pictured as. Because there are other cultures where they're not viewed as just horses. They're viewed as being animals that are made up of various other animals. They have elephants' feet, lions' tails, donkey heads, weird stuff like that.
I didn't want to say it about your feet, but...
My hose are not cloven, sir. Okay, all right.
There's a sentimental to them.
So there's also another bit here where there's a unicorn in the news in China where cow...
Hang on. I just want to repeat that sentence because I liked it. There's a unicorn in the news in China.
Yes.
Go on.
That actually sounds like something that would have been mentioned on a bumper for Kentucky Fried Movie, believe it or not.
The popcorn you're eating has been pisted.
Film 11. Okay. But and we'll post the link on the website, but there's a cow that was born in China and it has a horn right through the middle of its head.
Allie.
And they're calling this a Chinese unicorn. They're saying this cow is a Chinese unicorn. Here's the problem. We discussed this a little bit earlier. It actually, this cow corn, this cow unicorn, whatever. Counicorn. It actually has two other horns. It has two regular cow horns. So it's got 3 horns on its head. Let me just remind everyone that the main feature of a unicorn is the fact that they have one horn on their head. Right. Not they have one horn in a specific place, but they have only one horn. If you have 3 horns, I say you're a trinicorn. You had a better name for this cow.
That it's a Cowceratops.
Cowceratops. Hashtag Cowceratops. Been waiting for that one. That was in the pre-show, and that was great. And it took us.
Was that worth waiting for?
Yeah. Only 17 minutes left in the whole show to get to the one funny. Yeah. And
Letterman would be proud.
And you accused me of doing the Letterman thing. Okay. We're gonna put that Cowceratops in the Frank FAQ in the Frank vocabulary. Baby unicorns only drink this. What am I clicking on here? We just got this one. Oh, it's it's bacon flavored instant baby formula. Wow.
Bacon baby formula?
Yep. J&D Foods once again.
That's when your child is both conceived and born at a Waffle House. That's when you use that.
Is that right?
When your child was conceived at the Waffle House and more than likely also delivered there, that's when you're going to be using bacon baby formula. That is fantastic.
And then the last one here to mention real quick, we know that, we talk about Think Geek, right? Again, we mentioned them just this week with the bacon, stuffed bacon plush. I'm bacon. They have a product, the canned unicorn. Okay, canned unicorn meat. I'm sure you've seen that.
You've mentioned that before on the show.
And essentially what it is, it's a stuffed vivisected unicorn. It's a vivisected.
Can something stuffed be vivisected?
The story you're talking about was the Sam-looking one that had the glitter that was in it and everything as well.
Right, but I agree. I when they first made it, it was a fake. It looked like a spam type product with glitter in it, and there was some question as to whether or not it was actually somewhat edible or if people might think it was edible. So that's why they made the change. We've been over this. This is why they changed it to be the vivisected stuffed unicorn in the can.
I can't imagine anyone eating anything with glitter.
I can't either, but apparently it happens. Hey, look, Mariah Carey goes on dates. It happens. Okay, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
You took that there, huh?
I did. I sure did. Nick Cannon's not happy because they're married. Okay.
Well, Nick Cannon's not happy because he's Nick Cannon, but let's go on.
All right. So he's got to put up with Mimi. But anyway, so here's the funny thing. So there's the outrage of the product. They changed the product, right? That's well known. But here's what's funny about it is the Germans, in their infinite...
Those wacky
Germans, in their infinite and efficient way, have now decided they've actually stopped shipments of this novelty product into Germany and demanded that ThinkGeek, which is, again, the company that's selling this product, prove the origin of this, quote, exotic animal meat.
And this is the one that's just a stuffed unicorn in a can.
Yes. They actually are stopping, the customs agents in Germany are stopping a vivisected stuffed unicorn in a can at the border, just claiming that they want to see the origin of the meat contained in the product.
In their defense, the word unicorn in German actually means Hasselhoff meat. A lot of people don't know that.
Well, I would think in that case...
You got to brush up on your German.
There would be... I do, clearly. I would think that case...
I know a little German. He's right over there.
Yeah. Hello. My name is Hans. I would feel like if that were the case, if it were Hasselhoff meat, the Germans would never allow such a thing. There'd be a national day of mourning.
Sure would.
They would start a third world war to find those responsible for the desecration of the Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Unicorns, they don't care. Put us in a pie, they're not interested. It doesn't matter. As long as you can prove where the meat came from. But, I mean, come on. This is just the best example of how ridiculous this bureaucracy is it not?
That is
just how Germans just don't seem to have any sense of humor at all.
Really? Because they embrace David Hasselhoff as a national singing star. So clearly they have a sense of humor.
Well, clearly they don't mind being made fun of by other... Clearly they have a sense of humor in the respect that they can take... Well, no, they really can't take a joke, can they?
Not well.
No, they really don't. No, they really don't. Well, I think the best example for me of this... I mean, this is funny, that the German authorities are demanding to see papers for imported exotic meat for a stuffed unicorn just because it's packaged as being... in a can, which is hilarious. We could go on and on about Germans. We've got the whole thing we could talk about with the Germans and the Muppets. Okay, about how the Henson family took the Germans for millions when they sold the Germans. They sold the Muppets a while ago. They had sold the Muppets to a German group, and they way overpaid for. They paid hundreds of millions for the Muppets. And then some few years later, the Germans, after not profiting all that much, sold the rights to the Muppets back to the Henson kids for like a tenth of what they had paid for them. So props to the Henson kids for ripping off the Germans. That's cool.
There you go.
But again, just shows the absolute lack of sense of humor, because if you can't find one person in your country to appreciate, laugh at, and love the Muppets, what is wrong with you? Oh, I know. You're German. That's what it is. You live in Munich.
Bye-bye, German listeners.
Hey, whatever.
We'll miss you, Heinrich.
Well, we have one German listener. It's the little German that you know. You know, the one over there. Hello, I'm on. Hello. All right.
Okay.
I don't mean to be so anti-German. I just can't help it. They're fun. They're fun to make fun of because they are fun. The Germans are fun people.
Tongue, baby.
They're hilarious. First of all, you want to get drunk? Germans, hang out with them. That's how that works.
With an optometer.
Ja. Plus, der has a funny accent. Ja. They gave the world Siegfried and Roy. I mean, they gave the world Siegfried and friggin' Roy. That ought to be humorous enough, is it not? That's German comedy. Is that German comedy?
I guess it is.
Is that German comedy? Siegfried and Roy?
White and Tigers? Sure.
All right. All right. Let's do this. So we're going to wrap up. We've got about 10 minutes left on the show. We'll go ahead and just take submissions, I guess, at this point. If you guys have anything you want to talk about as far as you want to comment on the unicorn stuff, 347-326-9700. If you've got some hench calls you want to make or some henching you want to do, 347-326-9700. Twitter.com at Frank the Unicorn. You just gave me the look. Why'd you give me the laughing look? What was that all about?
I was looking for a Cosmo.
You were looking for. We don't have a Cosmo this
I know.
week. We already went through the whole Cosmo last week. We spent plenty of time on that.
We need a new Cosmo.
We apparently do, or a Glamour.
We've got 10 minutes and we've run out of steam.
We've not totally run out of steam. We've got a little bit of steam. We just got sidetracked making fun of German people. But we should say it's not just German people. It's Germans. Like, you have to be living in Germany.
All Europeans, let's be honest.
No. We do have listeners. We have listeners in Norway.
Do we?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to become gods in Finland like Conan?
Well, no, I don't think so. We're not.
Shame.
First of all, we don't have the names for that, because if your name is Conan, you're already one step closer. I mean, you're.
Well, no, he just had it because he looked like their prime minister, I believe it was.
Well, neither of us looks like any sort of, right? I mean, we're not.
Well, if Oliver Platt becomes a dictator, I'm a shoo-in.
That's true.
People will worship me.
If I guess I don't even know who I would say. There's no one that looks like me.
Thankfully. Well, there's Birdie.
Well, that just hurt my feelings.
I'm teasing you.
You just heard a unicorn. That's not a smart thing to do.
I guess not.
You've upset me. I'm going to cry a unicorn tear, which, is good because it soothes burns. If you have anyone that has like a third-degree burn, I could heal it with the tears. No?
I hope that was your funny bone.
Ow! It was my funny bone. I hit it. It didn't do any good. Even the producer is just out of energy tonight. How's Mrs. the Unicorn doing?
Mrs. the Unicorn is doing great.
We're getting light feedback on the Twitter, aren't we?
That's what I answered. A lot of people are watching a game that's on.
Damn the football.
Yeah.
Dopey football.
I know. All right. Well, listen. Let's just do this. Let's go back through. Again, I just want to take a quick moment. I want to.
Quiznos joke again?
We could do the Quiznos joke again. I was going to say that they shouldn't be Quiznos. They should be called Quiz Yes, to avoid the negative connotation that goes with the name Quiznos. But really, the negative connotation has more to do with the food than the name.
I would think so.
Yeah. Although I will say this, I do appreciate Quiznos because they did have the guts to do those commercials with the weird little I love the subs guys. You know what I'm talking about, the weird little hamsters and whatnot?
I totally forgot about them, but yes. Now I remember.
Love those commercials. Love the guy. There's a guy that does that online. He does a whole ton of those videos and whatnot. He actually did a video for the band Electric Six, who is a great band. They have a song called Gay Bar, and he did the video for that song, and it's really fantastic. In fact, I'm gonna take a note here to post a link to the video for Gay Bar because it features
and Gay Bar.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It features cats. Okay, little kittens, cute little kittens.
Is one of them Stripes Jackson?
No. Dressed in Viking helmets with weapons, flying around on jetpacks and rocket packs and wailing on guitars. And it's really great. Setting off nuclear bombs.
Sounds like a fever dream.
It's a fantastic video, and the Electric Six is a lot of fun. So we're going to definitely post that. But since we're just kind of limping through the final 7 minutes, I want to go ahead and say thank you very much to Casino Luchi because he really was. He was our first musical guest that we had on the show. He was the person that came to me and said, hey, listen, man, I got a new track. I'd really like to get it out there. Why don't you play some music on your show there's a lot of great art out here. There's a lot of great music, and there's a lot of things going on in the scene that really need a place and an outlet, and that could be your show. And he really had a great recommendation of that, and I really thank him for that. And we've been very fortunate with a lot of the bands we've been able to interact with.
What we can do is we can give a shout out to the bands we've had on the show.
We absolutely can, and we know that. We'll just start mentioning them. First of all, we had Jack Licata on the show. He was fantastic. We had Casino Luchi. We had the Smash Brothers, and we know Josh Fox and Joey Sexton, and they've got that new video, the new Hanukkah video that we're going to get the link for. We had, of course, Llewelyn, very popular band, and they're doing a lot of good stuff. They've got a lot of shows coming up. The Band in Heaven, and of course, X-Rated.
X-Rated.
They're playing this week at...
Still waiting on my copy of that song.
I know. If you have a blank CD, I'll burn it for you.
I don't.
You don't.
Not,
all right.
not handy.
If you have a zip drive, I'll put it on a zip drive for you.
I don't even know what a zip drive is.
Okay. You know what? Here's the thing. If you had downloaded any of our podcasts...
I have a typewriter.
You could, if you downloaded our podcasts, you would be able... I know it'll take a while on your 28K modem, but dial it up on your put on your members only jacket with your digital watch, use your modem, dial up on your 486, you can download the MP3 and eventually download the software to play it.
But it's much easier for me if you hand me a CD and say, hey, here's that song you wanted.
Well, I think what I'm going to end up doing is actually putting together all of the music for you and giving you all of the songs. And that way you have all of it to pick through and to
That would be awesome.
It would be awesome. All right, so we got about 5 minutes left in the show, and it's not looking good right now for Stripes Jackson.
No, it's not.
For those that don't know, we do a segment, How Unicorn Are You?
Anyone who doesn't know?
I think everyone knows at this point. I think, again, there's just some general indifference to the character. But what we're doing is...
I think indifference is giving it too much credit.
We've been taking polls back and forth. We've been taking feedback on either on Bon Jovi, if he's good Jovi, which is Bon Jovi, or if he's not, which is non-Jovi. So is he Bon Jovi or non-Jovi? It's well in favor of non-Jovi at this point.
Clearly non-Jovi.
Clearly non-Jovi at this point. I guarantee you, however, the same people who are voting non-Jovi would also probably not, they would have voted against Hootie and the Blowfish, yet I guarantee you they all have cracked rear view.
Well, that was the thing with Bon Jovi, was like, I honestly would have been non-Jovi if you had asked me maybe a month ago. But then I went and saw that Circle concert movie that they did, and I didn't realize how many of the songs, A, that I knew, and B, that I really dug. So I was fine with it.
But, again...
That's what prompted me to go out and get the Greatest Hits CD.
Oh, here we go. We've got a couple emails here coming in at the end.
Oh, that's a good one.
Henchman, Peter Falk in The Great Race.
That's a very good one. Actually, as I love Peter Falk in anything, but that's definitely good stuff.
And he mentions Professor Fate. That's
Jack Lemmon, that was who Peter Falk was, the henchman, too.
Right, and wasn't he the 1920s villain with the big mustache and the top hat? Yeah, see? Perfect, okay. We love this. All right, and of course, Zorg was the dark evil forces henchman in The Fifth Element, and the dog creatures were Zorg's henchmen.
That's true.
That is true, and The Fifth Element is one of those movies that...
A movie I don't unabashedly love, but I do love Gary Oldman's weird little haircut and performance.
He's very strange, and actually...
His weird little Hitler hair.
Chris Tucker really broke out in that movie, too. That was...
Which is probably why I don't like it very much, because I thought he was one of the most irritating people I had ever seen in a movie. And I kind of liked the first couple of Rush Hour movies. But I thought Chris Tucker, in particular, in Fifth Element, was so unbearably annoying that I couldn't wait for him to not be on screen anymore.
He was the Stripes Jackson of the film, for you, is what you're saying.
Ruby Rod was irritating. The only thing, it was like dragging Fran Drescher across a chalkboard.
Oh my God!
Terrible.
That may be the funniest thing that's been said during this entire show. The visual of dragging Fran Drescher, preferably in one of her nanny outfits, like the super tight sprayed-on dresses that were way inappropriately short for a nanny to wear, especially around a teenage boy. 2 minutes left in the show. Now we've got comedy gold.
There you go.
See how that works?
That is how that works.
You got to stick with the entire show, folks. Even if we hit a lull, even if we hit a little rough patch there, maybe we get stuck talking about Stripes Jackson. But eventually you're going to get some comedy gold, such as the visual of Fran Drescher being dragged across a chalkboard with forks in her hands.
To go back to the henching, Peter Falk, actually, his breakout role, his very first movie, he was nominated for an Oscar. It was a movie called Murder, Inc., and he was a henchman in that, and he was badass. That's one I had actually forgotten about. If y'all want to see yourself an evil henchman, check out Peter Falk in Murder, Inc.
And this is why you're the genius of pop culture.
As much as I love Columbo and I love, Peter Falk just as he became, man, could he be scary. He really could. You wouldn't expect it from this tiny little one-eyed guy, but he was genuinely threatening in Murder, Inc.
He's like a one-eyed leprechaun.
He was good stuff.
Awesome. All right. So I think that's going to do it.
Cold as ice is what he was.
Cold as ice. Ice cold. He was cold as dry ice. That's how cold he was. All right.
Damn cold.
So I just want to say, yes, okay, thank you again to Casino Luch. And he's got the show coming up. We're going to, December 17th. So we'll post the links to that on the website. We've got the Beans list partially posted on the website. People can put comments and feedback on that. We want to let them know that about the website. We're launching the YouTube channel. It's been launched. We only have one video on it right now. We'll get a few more things added to that, hopefully.
Did they have a show this week, I think?
Yeah, X-Rated has a show this week at Respectable Street, at 8 p.m., 21 and over show. Bring someone 21 if you're under 21. Definitely check it out because that is some awesome stuff. I really enjoyed the track by Luch tonight. I love socially relevant music. I think it's important that we express these things in a creative way because it makes it more accessible and it makes it easier for everybody to get on the same page.
As Matthew Sweet says, too many protest singers, not enough protest songs.
There you go. And there's a guy that we haven't talked about that we should, Matthew Sweet.
Good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So that's going to do it for this week's Frank the Unicorn radio program. We'll be on next week. We've got live in-studio guests. Woo! Last phone booth. They're going to be doing a great acoustic set for us. And we will see you then. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to our lovely producer, Mrs. the Unicorn. Thanks to Beans. Thanks to everyone for listening. Have a great night, and we will catch up with you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.